I'm Sharon Decada. I'm calling to order the Woodbridge Conservation Commission meeting of July 17th at 6 p.m. With me is Ben Carlson, Barbara Hagan, Diana McCurry.
Go ahead, give it a try.
I always say in my mind,
But she's definitely here. Okay, and the first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. And I think we have two different meetings. Do we have the 5th May or just June?
As the thing said, you didn't get the new one. Yeah, you get the new one. I sent the wrong one, so then I resent the right one with the corrections.
Okay, so we only have June.
Yeah, because, yeah, we
No, I
did.
think we've all read them. And
I thought we voted on May already.
Yeah, we
the
did.
last
We
one.
I
Yeah,
just
that's
accidentally sent the
She
wrong
said-
one, Barbara picked it up. No one else picked it up, I sent the wrong one.
Oh, I edited that one?
No, you edited the right one.
Okay, good.
Okay,
I don't know how,
so
because you
does
actually
anyone have
sent
any
it.
comments about the June 5th minutes?
No, Diana already did, sorry.
Maybe somebody could have found punctuation.
Formally correct.
I stuck to spelling.
Okay, does anyone want to approve these minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Anyone want a second?
I will second.
A vote? Who approves? All approved, unanimous?
I was gonna say,
Okay.
Ben, you can't find anything wrong, because I sent it to you earlier.
Public comment, we have no public comment. And Diana, what's happening? Is your
Not much is happening right now, other than the Trail Day is actually not in July, it's in August, as I've been corrected. August 10th. And wonderful concert series on the green. I don't know if we didn't mention it at the last one, but there has been some more tree planting done on the green where those trees were removed. So thought everybody would like to know that. That's all I've got.
okay?
Is anything else happening with trees? I don't know. So there's that, and yeah, I have other things to add to the agenda. We're sure we have no public comment?
We're sure we have no public comment.
Okay, good. So, yeah, so that's it, what's happening. Does anybody else have any other events that are happening?
Not that I'm aware.
No, pretty quiet.
So
Thank you.
let's move on to, thank you. Let me move on to old business, Fountain Street development. What I know about it is that the new date for the public hearing that was continued from last month was not this month, but it will be on September 2nd.
Day after the Labor Day holiday
Yeah, and I will not be here.
is it 6 p.m.?
I don't know, but I think it is. It'll be in the
Going back to Hawaii?
Europe.
That's nice.
So,
Right?
I like how Woodbridge is showing a seasonally appropriate winter image on the website.
okay, is there anything else to say about that?
That's gonna be held where, you were starting to say?
I think at the Center Road School auditorium.
At the
Yeah, with the senator.
gym. Isn't
I
it the
just
gym
wanted
or
to-
the
The gym.
downstairs?
Yeah.
It's in the gym. I think it's the
The
gym.
Yeah, I
only-
think so too.
Last time it was at the gym,
Right.
and this time, looking at the agenda, it says it will be in the central meeting room. Okay, so
Central meeting room where?
in town hall.
The town hall?
Oh, it's in Main Town Hall instead.
Yeah, so they
I
must
bet
not be
that gets
expecting
switched.
a
Oh,
turnout yet. But I will say that, it was brought to our attention by some members of the public that they would like to see the Conservation Commission be listed as an intervener on that application. So we have the application from, I think it was the Land Trust?
And the
And
parks.
the parks, yeah, and so if people are in favor of it, we can add our names to the list to be,
would that be joining with them? The trust and
I could ask them, or we could be doing it independently.
And I don't know what that entails. Is it entail getting a lawyer or getting
Yeah,
our own
it's just-
expert?
Hi. Well,
Wow.
come in.
How's everybody?
Good.
See, you didn't need
How are
me to
you?
come tonight.
I didn't get to come?
No, I said, see, you didn't need me to come tonight.
Oh,
Really?
Okay.
Glad to have you back.
We are really glad to have you back.
Thank you. Glad to be had.
All right, so we're just on the first topic we're talking about the Fountain Street development. The application and the public hearing have been continued till September 2nd at 6 p.m. And some of the organizations in town have applied.
Land organization.
Land
Land
organization, yeah, land organizations in town have applied to be interveners on that application, which means they have a seat at the table and they can be part of the discussion and present any information. And folks have asked us if we would do the same. So if
They, the trust has already been, well, both of them have been accepted as interveners, the land trust and the park association.
Are we gonna have a meeting
Are
in August
interveners.
if we think about it between now and then and decide in August meeting?
I don't know,
I can't do August.
comments from the peanut gallery.
I guess the question is,
I just-
would we be joining as sort of just like moral support, or do we have something unique to add to the process? I thought that they did a really good job, and the consultants they hired were really, really great. And so, I don't know, I don't know if we have something unique to add, other than just saying like, yeah, we want to, we support you guys.
Well, I think in any case, it would be very valuable for us to be
And I,
as support, but if we do come up with something else in addition, then we could do it.
Yeah,
So
because
if we just,
the other thing I was thinking was, and yeah, maybe we do want to do that, but I think at the minimum, we should probably have at least like a statement,
oh yes.
and that's something that I wanted to talk about. Maybe this is the right time to talk about it, is like, I think we just need to have an official statement from the Conservation Commission on where we stand on this.
Okay.
And that's probably, and then that's at a minimum, and then maybe if we want to be an intervener, then that's additional on top of
so I
that.
have a suggestion, Ben, how about, being the good writer that you are, that you draft the statement and we have it ready for the August meeting, or even if we don't have an August meeting.
We should probably determine what our statement is.
Yeah, that's what I was, if
Discussion.
we want to have that discussion now, I was just thinking, you guys could just throw out a bunch of stuff that should be in the statement, and then I can kind of work it into something.
And I guess, I don't know, since we're under the edict of the Board of Selectmen, if we're allowed to have our own, I think we are, but have our own statement without it going through them. I don't know.
Well, I don't think it needs to be considered, I don't think it needs to be considered we are representing the town of Woodbridge, but I think a memo with information, just like what we've supplied to the Board of Selectmen previously and what we supplied to Coopop, we can do the same thing, supplying, information.
We could even write it as a letter to the Board of Selectmen and make it public. And just say, this is information for you. And then if it's public, then,
Yeah, and I think it's quite important that the commission speak up on,
I think so
commission
too.
on the conservation aspects of this.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think people are looking for that, and they've been looking for it before, so I think it'd be very good.
Do you have any reservations, Sharon, about?
Well, I think also that it's being, as I understand it, I don't know how much opinions matter. I mean, I think we have an opinion and it matters, but I think what it's going to be decided on, or I understand from Mika, that the criteria, is it safe in terms of traffic, is it safe in terms of fire, it's gone past the, I mean, certainly public sentiment is highly against it, but it seems like TP&Z is not feeling required to take that into consideration. It's only if it's wetlands, runoff, zoning, traffic and stuff like that. That doesn't mean that we can't say it, it's just that I just think we should.
Well, I thought from
Conservation is a-
environmental conservation.
Environmental is very much a part of that, whether
Okay, I'm-
TPC likes it or not, it is.
Right. That's true.
May I say something? At one of the meetings, was there a gentleman that spoke about the type of rock that was there or something?
Yes.
That was a certain type of.
Yes,
Yeah, there's
it's a
Precambrian,
a
very
very
old
special
rock there.
kind of rock that's there.
So can we cite that, since we are the Conservation Committee, has to part of our reasonings of that we are conservation and because of this, so
Then you
we're
can-
kind of like, what do you think about?
I was thinking of that,
Making-
yeah.
Then maybe
Yeah.
you could get that report to be really
Mhm.
accurate so that it's, so,
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, we should use the information that's in those reports. I mean, you know, that should have been something that TPZ commissioned because they should want to know about the conservation value, but, so, you know, I think that's information that, and it's all public, so I think we should be able to use it.
yeah,
Mhm.
that sounds good. So that would be the environmental implications of the rock, and there was more to it than that. There was also how that affected the
Yeah,
plant life and the
rocks are
reptile.
usually associated with unique flora, so they talked about a lot of, you know, mosses, and then they also said, what I remember was there was a lot of what looked like undisturbed forest. So
Yes.
forest that had not been cut or had, you know, was cut a long time ago and came back, because there's a lack of invasive species there.
That's a good one. Yeah, so
That's important.
preservable, we're interested in that preservation because it has value that way.
Yeah, definitely. And then the Audubon Society also, when in their report with the for the country club, they also mentioned that this is, you know, the country club is part of this, attached to this forested corridor, of which this, you know, undisturbed forest is part of that forested corridor. So, you know, there's landscape implications as well.
Well, and maybe you could give a little sentence or two about the importance of contiguous environmental environments for the benefit of
Yeah, and I think
protecting them.
that's what Dan is saying right now.
I know, but that
Wildlife.
could be, you know, a quote from somebody or from a specialist or someone to bring that point home.
Mhm.
Even though it's part next to a highway, it's still, and that there's wetlands on the other side. I mean, there's wetlands around, and even if it doesn't actively disturb them, it's not enhancing them by any means, which often have a lot of more fragile.
Well, even if it's not
Ecosystem.
active disturbance, then there's over time encroachment,
Yes.
right?
And even just runoff from the,
That's what I
The-
like,
the-
more passive,
yeah, the
Mhm.
fertilizers they're gonna put on the grass and, you know. it's-
more invasives that they continue to spread
Yeah.
everywhere in our community.
And I know they say the sightline isn't gonna be disturbed, but I can't imagine that the sightline is really gonna be, it's gonna nestle in, and it's 65 feet tall,
Ooh.
that well.
Okay, so I can include all that. Anything else that comes to mind?
Well, I don't think this is that relevant, but I think it's gonna be a really dangerous access point and
Oh,
it's-
yeah.
From an environmental perspective, I think, you know, number one, increase in storm water runoff from impervious surface. I think it's gonna have an impact on depleting groundwater supplies. And we are in the watershed for the, you know, community in New Haven right below, which is already subjected to high water tables and flooding during rain events, not even let alone extreme weather events that we're having, just standard, if we even have those anymore, rain events. So that's gonna make matters worse, I think, from that perspective. Additionally, increasing the number of cars that are sitting there and trying to,
yeah,
you know, get out of a driveway and turn onto a busy road will increase the amount of emissions from vehicles, which, you know, degrades air pollution and contributes to, you know, increased carbon in our atmosphere, carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, and climate change.
locally.
Right. And then The other impact is the urban heat island effect and heat retention with building materials, which right now we have natural cooling benefits from the forest that's there.
Yeah, that development's gonna be significantly hotter.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
absolutely. And
And just the area that, I mean, there's the area of the building, but the area of disturbance is a lot larger than the area of the building.
I have a question, I mean, I know because it is on the fringes of Woodbridge in New Haven. Is there any type of accountability that Woodbridge has to do with New Haven? Because I told a friend who lives on Longview Terrace. She is right there, in fact, that is her backyard, and she
I
was,
think they've
outward.
recently been informed.
they were outraged when they heard
Yeah,
about
they
it.
may be
So, I'm just
represented.
Yeah, who's the alderman of, I mean,
of Ward, is it Ward
Ward.
25?
Oh, gee, is it, I forgot his name.
It was Adam,
Yeah, Marchand.
yeah, Marchand.
I think that some of the Woodbridge Land Trust people are communicating with those people, or some connection.
yeah, and I
And
know.
I don't think that's our role really, but I think it certainly affects them and that they'd wanna know about it and they should have some say in it because they are butters.
Well, and the other thing
Yeah.
about increased stormwater runoff is that you start to have greater erosion around those lands, and we know it's a sloping parcel. And along with stormwater runoff, not only do you have erosion, but it carries pollutants, you know, from the road, from parking lots, from wherever, and moves those and can contaminate land and soils and water. And as I jokingly said before, but am seriously saying now, it can help transport invasive species and spread them.
Yeah, I know there are specific concerns that the water was gonna run off into the Yale Preserve. And I know some folks at Yale were concerned about that as well.
We can
Oh,
mention that we're appreciating that they're giving Woodbridge so much, information, but we think might be a slight lack of that same information that's being given to people who may be affected in New Haven.
don't they have to give the notice?
Well, I think they're not, it's the highway that's the abutter, so.
Yeah, the highway, but has the highway been notified?
Yeah, but they're in the,
It's
aren't they in the
really upset.
watershed there? Don't they have to?
I don't really know, but I
Yeah.
think that certainly
It's the West
they
River.
have
Yeah,
feelings
butters
about
have
it
to
and
know.
they haven't had a chance to speak up about it, would be my guess.
Hmm.
Is that enough, Ben, for you to work with?
Yeah, I think that's good,
Okay.
so I can put something together.
Should we move on? Woodbridge Country Club,
Sorry, just going back to the discussion on
Fountain?
being intervener. Does anybody have any
Oh,
other thoughts on whether or not we tell them we're happy to join forces or submit our own? So we have a seat at the table so that if we want to provide
Can I-
information, we can.
can I back us up a little bit? Because
Mhm.
my ideal situation from my perspective is we have this month to think about it, think if we have anything to really add, kind of get the reality of what we are, in the scope of what can work best. And then just have a meeting or a special meeting in August, it could be brief, because we have a whole nother month to enact it. And I feel like I'm not prepared to know enough to
I'm not-
intervene.
I'm not asking for a vote, I'm just asking for a discussion.
No, but I think that maybe in August we should vote, and we should figure it out between now and then, if it's the wisest choice.
So those that asked us to join as interveners, do they have specific reasons for it?
Unless it's going back a little bit, so let me think here. It's not Adam Marchand, it's a different older, I'm getting that name right now. I think so that, I can't quite recall, but I think it was so that we can provide information from any of the studies, any of the experts we've spoken to, any of the research that we've done. From the historical aspects.
I don't,
And I think also
I
because.
can't come up with any historical particulars
Area
about
on
that
that, yeah.
spot.
But from the perspective of being the voice in town that represents the conservation of
Yeah,
natural
I think-
resources.
I think that the other people that are involved simply want as,
Broad a base as possible.
yeah, exactly, as many who can join, and that it would be a good thing for the town commission on conservation to be part of this.
Yeah, so maybe it's just a good look
Sure.
for the conservation-minded people.
Do you know what it requires to become an intervener?
Submitting a formal request to, I believe, Chris Sullivan.
To the, to TPZ. They're the ones that allow it. But that's, comes back to the question, are we, if we were to say, yes, we'll do it, are we doing it individually or jointly? Because I think that would help make our decision. I mean, obviously, we don't have money to hire a lawyer and so forth, but
No, and I don't think you're required to do that either. You know,
no, you're not required, but it would be
it's probably useful.
helpful.
Well, do you want to talk to the land trust or the parks and see if they're, I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter if they're interested in us doing it or not. We can do it on our own.
Well, it does matter, because that would, if they're interested in us joining them is one thing, if they're, they or somebody else is interested in us just doing it as individual or
Yeah, I guess that's
a
the
separate
question is
entity.
like, if we didn't have anything unique to add except for our opinion, and they just wanted us listed alongside of them, and then, somebody's paying for, these experts to testify and stuff like that, so, I
The
mean,
trustees.
if they're gonna handle all that, that's maybe one scenario, is we're just, okay, we'll be listed with you because, we wanna
We're in
be pretty
solidarity.
clear about, our intentions. That's one scenario, I guess.
Mhm.
Or the other one is, they want us to join along with them, but then there's something we can add.
As a separate.
Yeah, or we do totally separate, because we think we have something really unique to add. So, yeah, I don't know.
So it looks like Amy Marks, Richard Furlow, Adam Marchand,
Maybe Marks?
and Honda Smith are the 4 wards that are in that area.
So the 26, well, was it 26, 25?
It is 26, 25, 27, and 30. I say that right? 30. 29 is, a little further by Fitch Street. 30 crosses over Amity Road. 27 sort of straddles Wheelie down. 25 and 26 are at the top and bottom of Fountain. So you got a few.
In point of fact, from what I remember of a report from the Trust and the Park Association, they didn't touch too much on the environmental part of it. They talked a lot about the fire.
The second set of scientists talked a lot about
Yeah.
the unique flora and fauna.
Yeah.
He did, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So the first one was really focused on I don't know what it's called, the water management plan or something,
Yes.
and
Yes.
the major problems with it. But then the second two were kind of more focused on the
I think they covered it
natural
pretty
environment.
well.
Yeah, I thought they did a very good job.
I mean, I think it would be tricky for us to add much expertise without seriously hiring someone. So should we table this and come back to it, and, or should we decide to not vote or to vote, or should we decide to think about it and have a meeting in August and?
I think we need to, in a sense, research it more. You know, find out whether the other organizations that are already accepted, would like us to,
do.
accepted as interveners, would like us to join them. You know, and if they would prefer that we go in separately, what are the advantages and the disadvantages of that, and then come back and discuss it and make a decision.
Yeah, and I think, Ben, to your point, is do we have something really to add? I mean, aside from joining it, do we have a punch that can really make people say, oh yeah, that's another really important factor?
Well, I like what we agreed about the rock and the flora, and I think that would be part of the statement that,
Well, that's part of the statement, but
Right.
it isn't anything new or different that has already been brought up.
So should we agree upon having a meeting in August and making a decision specifically about this at that time with information that we gather between now and then? Is that something everyone, Diana, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't know how long it takes to be accepted as an intervener, if it's a
Maybe that's something we
fast
should find out.
process or not. Yeah, it'd be just nice to know what the ask is. You know, what,
You know, what the process is of doing that.
or like what are we being asked to do by the people who want us to join?
Well, I don't know that there are people who are part of the wetland, the water, land trust or the parks. I think there's the general public that says, why aren't you guys part of this?
I see,
I don't know if they
okay.
have a serious understanding of what that even means.
I
I think
see.
it's a combination of both.
Okay,
Okay.
but
Folks who
I
do.
can talk to Brian if that would be helpful.
Yeah, I think it would be good, since they already are interveners, simply to say we're, to Brian or to the trust, that we are, the public has talked to us about joining them or becoming an intervener, and what, would it be helpful to them to have this happen?
Yeah. Would it
Or
make
helpful
sense
to the whole subject or the whole project.
Yeah, maybe just having us listed is an important thing.
Well, I'd like someone else to call Chris Sullivan and find out what it involves and whether, you know, what the technical aspects of it.
Would it make sense to have like a meeting with the land trust and just see like if they would want us to join them? Like are we allowed to do that?
And we can do that, of course. We're allowed to do that, but I think it would be just as helpful if one or another of us simply talk to them. And maybe
Yeah, that's
they'd
what I
say,
mean,
well,
yeah.
let's have a meeting and talk it over.
I can connect you with somebody over there.
Brian?
At the Land Trust? Oh,
What,
are you talking about Brian Pines? Okay.
Yeah,
So you could maybe talk to the person who told you they want you to be an intervener.
Yeah, I have to remember who it is in the Land Trust that said that.
Or, I mean, I could send an email to somebody. If you can't recall.
Sounds good. Let me think on it. I have to go
I
back.
will email somebody, okay.
Ben's gonna email somebody.
Okay, all right, so to continue. Is everyone ready to move on to the next topic? Yeah? Woodbridge Country Club, response, environment, and value. I don't have really much information as to where that is, and I haven't been aware that the Board of Selectmen has proceeded beyond the presentation that was given with a few different options. And I don't know if
I
there's
don't
a
have
vote.
any
or if
information
there's-
about
So,
where it sits.
so I mean, they just had major presentation, are you talking about the one?
The TAC,
No, it was, the consultant came and basically gave like, here's your master plan. I've been watching it, let's see,
It was a special meeting.
hold on, let me turn down
That
the,
was a few weeks ago, right?
yeah, I've been watching it on 6/11, so I guess this was a while ago.
I think I was at that meeting. I watched it also. Weren't there two options that were given still?
I mean, in the one that I'm watching, they're actually just going through each district and saying, here's what you're gonna put here. And there was,
Oh,
That's it.
so it was, you know, kind of senior housing, cottages up in the, you know,
right on your
along
road,
Fountain
Antonio.
Street, or wherever that is, yeah,
Ansonia
Ansonia Road, and then, yeah, I mean, so it's, yeah, so I don't know if there's been developments since then, but there's, you know, according to the plan, there's gonna be, you know, some major developments on the country club. And a lot of the discussion that, I haven't finished it, but a lot of the discussion was like, how do we make this site attractive to developers? So they had a lot of discussion about like something they called a zoning overlay. And so they basically said, one way to attract developers is if you figure out the zoning ahead of time, and so the developer doesn't have to go through a zoning change, and so they, I don't know, there's a mechanism called an overlay, which somehow is easier than, you know, I don't know zoning that well. And then, you know, they mentioned moving the cell phone tower, which is apparently a lot of money to move that, so they were talking about different ways to do that. There was also, so the area where the country club is, the building is now, it does not have sufficient water and sewer services.
Correct. You're too old, they have it, but it's not.
Which is interesting because this was sort of sold as a place that makes sense for housing because there's water and
Right.
sewer, but now,
But now they
yeah, the consultant was saying the town would actually have to front that money
Upgrade.
to put in water and sewer services there to also make this attractive to
now,
developers.
that would have to be voted on by the town, right? Because that would be a lot of money.
Yeah, it sounds like any sale or lease, it would have to be voted on.
But, I know that, but I'm just wondering, any upgrade of that degree, would that have to be voted on?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that would be prior to the sale or lease.
Yeah, and they mentioned maybe they could get grants for it. But yeah, so that was,
And
that's,
that will take a while, wouldn't it?
yeah, so I just got to the point where they were sort of laying out the yearly kind of, and yeah, this was like a multi-year, you know, they said you probably wouldn't do an RFP until year, you know, 2 or 3 or something like that. So, but the focus was basically just prepping the site to make it attractive to developers, and then once it's there, start putting out RFPs to
So-
get developers there.
Look, if I'm hearing you correctly, the Board of Selectmen actually chose a development design, as it were, not final design, but where different parts of the whole that they thought they would like
Uh-huh.
to put different
Yeah,
parts.
the consultant was describing very concrete things for each of the different zones that they've developed. And I think maybe there were some sub-options, but he was really just going through what was, I assume, option number 1. For the most densely developed part, I think there was some talk about, well, should this be, you know, low-cost housing? Should this be commercial with a, you know, with a hotel? Should this be senior housing? There was still sort of
Or a
those,
combination of those.
yeah, or a combination. So I think there's still some options on the table, but they were, for the most
Do you-
part, pretty concrete with.
Do you remember the numbers of dwellings?
like was it 1A or 1B or things like that?
Yeah, or like 50 units or,
Well, so I don't remember, but then somebody also mentioned, hey, actually, Woodbridge has completely changed their zoning. And so they said, well, we want to look at the option of what happens if we take it to the limits of our current zoning and put, high-rise, 4-story apartment buildings all over it. And so that's sort of something else that they're going to start looking at.
Wow,
So,
that's totally different than the plan, right?
Yeah, well,
yeah, so that,
Well, I mean, it's not different than
That's a
somebody's
natural-
plan,
Right.
that's been somebody's plan
yes,
all along.
Right, exactly.
Um,
But I think basically what they made a decision was that they would develop where the present buildings are in that area.
and more.
A combination of possibly commercial and housing, et cetera, et cetera. And then they would take the Ansonia Road piece and put another kind of housing along
Yep.
there. And most of
Workers.
the rest of it, they were gonna leave quote unquote empty. That's, I think, the basic plan that they decided they wanted.
I think interspersed in that was what you were saying is what makes it attractive to the developers. And they're very clear, or they were kind of tossing back and forth in a clear kind of way, that, they might want more housing here because that would be more, they'd only, a certain, there's a limited return if you make 10 versus
Yep.
20, and they make much more money, so that to get somebody, we may have to. So I felt like no matter what is decided, I feel like to get a buyer, there could be changes. And
Yeah,
I
definitely.
also feel like, I don't know where the referendum comes and where the agreement has
Right.
to be, but I don't know if they can do sewage and water and get these grants prior to any agreement, or if the people of the town have to decide if they want that there. And my hunch is they're trying to, I don't know if this is true, but that they'd like to get as far along as possible before a referendum is, that's my
I
guess.
think somebody even said that. They said the referendum comes at the very end. We do everything, we change the zoning, we put an RFP, we get somebody who's ready to build, and then we do the referendum. So,
Which is so tough, because how do you?
I'm sorry, what
and
percentage of that were they preserving for open space?
Percentage?
There was a percentage number.
It was,
One?
No,
Oh, right, it'd have to be at least
Well-
10%, right?
I mean,
no, it's a fair amount.
it
Yeah,
it is
it
a
is a
lot,
amount.
but the point, Sharon's point is taken, that can change easily, because all of a sudden somebody will say, well, we're never gonna get a developer in here if they,
we've got to
Well, I
extend
mean, that's the developer's
footprint,
game
or-
all along, it doesn't
Right.
matter if you tell them, if they come in with 20 homes at first, or 80 homes, or whatever, then they say, oh, well, we
We really
realize
need 100.
economics, we need to double or increase this by this, so we need you to do this, right?
Yeah, so we're
That's
aware of that.
that's their
But would the
posturing all the time.
land be, first of all, is it all or nothing? Do they take the entire tract, or are they gonna subdivide it first and
They
then parse it
subdivide
off?
I think.
Yeah,
How would-
subdivisions or,
They're gonna
They sell the
subdivide
Well,
the
parts.
I think that's maybe a technical term. It's different patches of the land that they're going to do different things with.
No, but I'm talking about the entire parcel is under one deed. Are they going to subdivide it and make different deeds and
I-
sell off so that
I
one
think-
developer may get one parcel? And because right now it's under one deed.
Yeah, I think
And so
that's
that
the
I
makes
idea.
think
one.
this is all something that they're gonna see what the developers want. There has never been one word since this whole thing happened about taking a third or 2/3 and putting it in, protecting it.
So that is
Right.
They're
one,
leaving that whole option
did.
The
of,
whole
That is
100
one good
acres
thing.
is up for grabs.
in a sense.
Right, not 20
Well, they-
here, 20 there,
they
right?
did, I think that is one good takeaway from this, is there is a big, I can't remember what, it's like G1 or something, it was a fairly large parcel, and the consultant said that they should start looking into conservation easement and that sort of thing, so.
Yeah, but that's the consultants that said that.
Yeah, well,
Until the
but-
developers come along and say, well, we forget it and we'll
Consultants also
we'll
said that
take
they
care
would
of
do
that,
So
quote unquote.
environmental evaluation,
I mean,
right?
I think that's something that the commission should push, if you're gonna develop
Yeah.
this, then you need to take 2/3 of
Yeah,
it and put it under,
I think that helps us.
under easements.
Anything that's like officially in the plan, I think that helps us push. So the other thing is they mentioned that they should get started right away on an invasive species plan, which I think that helps us too because.
Well, it's
that's-
another thing to get it ready for developers, so.
Mhm.
Well, I would say that
But
that
it
gets
does
it ready
help
for
the
a lot of good
environment, too.
things. I don't think developers care about invasive species.
No,
But I
they
think
just
that is
destroy
true.
everything.
Right, they don't.
An invasive species is better than a paved driveway any day.
So, I don't know who of us or how we're gonna keep a pulse of this. Does anyone have any ideas how that's best to do? Because it seems like we should be aware of the agenda.
I guess
I'm not
the-
getting informed that the.
You have to attend the meetings. They're not gonna write, a Cliff's Note summary for us on
I know,
how
so,
it impacts
I mean, is
conservation.
there
It
any-
honestly would be great to have that liaison back again.
But
Where's
is there,
David Logan?
is there any,
Sam?
so we had input through the tax, it sounds like that's over, I mean, is
We
there
had up to
any
tax.
other
well, that's what
area
I'm
that
sort
we
of
can
saying. No.
affect the
aware.
process?
I
other
mean,
than-
we have two ways of input. One is to do public speaking at the meetings and say, all right, if you have made a decision, you, the Board of Selectmen, that we are gonna develop part of this, we feel very strongly that a major portion, it's intimated that 2/3 of it, say, is left open, well then, make sure it stays open. You need to start the work on the easement part of it. That's one way in the meetings. The other way, of course, is to write a letter to them
Mhm.
stating this. And it can be both. That the commission officially write a letter. I mean, we can just say we understand that the Board of Selectmen have chosen to develop parts of it, and that we feel strongly that the parts that they don't develop should be put under conservation easements.
For the benefit of the endangered species that we are.
At least that starts a ball of discussion going
Mhm.
with them.
Okay, so that's another letter possibly.
It would be good to know what the process is from here on out.
I mean,
Um,
to get an easement?
Well, I mean, at some point, the consultants are done, and I don't know if the board votes on the plan, and now that this is the official plan, Like,
I don't-
I don't know what the whole
I don't
process is.
think so. I
Or-
think the consultants are simply consulting and this is their suggestion.
I
and
think there's a
then-
vote that comes somewhere though, to choose
The
something.
board does vote on what they like best of the consultant's plan, but they don't vote that this is what we are going to do. They can do whatever, even with the consultants.
Diana, could you find out what is the upcoming process?
Sure, like where we are right now in the process.
And
Or
then
where-
And what's next?
Yeah, because if we knew what the next steps were, we could strategize on how to, best
Yeah.
put the important information that we have into the process.
And of course, with all this, as somebody just said, when it comes down to the end, if they do anything, it's gonna go to referendum and there might be a whole new thing.
Right,
And what
but
is the
I
market value of the Woodbridge country? Has anybody established that? I mean, didn't they buy it
There's
at?
very little financial stuff done until very recently, and I don't think anyone ventured to that, at least in the part of the meeting that I think I saw.
Well, I don't understand how can anybody make any kind of decisions without knowing what the market value of the 100 acres is?
Well, I
I
think,
mean, we bought it for, what was it, 9 million in 2000 and,
I think
was
it's
it
7, but that's all right.
7 million? And so now what is it worth? Do they plan on subdividing it? These are my questions and giving it to
It
specific
depends on what they do
developers.
with it, what it's worth.
Right.
I don't think
Well-
they have that, I mean, I think some Board of Selectmen members were concerned about that, but that is not what this group.
The consultants
The
weren't asked
consult
to do
weren't
that.
focused, at least maybe at the very end they might.
They did do
They did
a
do an
cost-benefit
analysis,
analysis.
yes.
I didn't get to that part
Yes.
yet. but.
They did a cost benefit analysis?
Of the different options, yeah, or, I'm not, yeah, of the plan, I guess.
I'm gonna say, we were talking about this in my family about property taxes, because we all pretty much got hit with property taxes in our respective towns. And from my perspective, a lot of apartment buildings do not add, they take away, because the people that own the houses are paying exorbitant property taxes, and the people in apartments are just paying property taxes on their cars. And they're not paying even 4,000 and 5,000 or 10 or
Well, I think
15 or
that's
20,000.
even more-
It's a
The Fountain Street, the real example for that is the Fountain Street building, is that I think it's pretty much determined that it's not gonna bring in any revenue. I don't
It's
know.
gonna take away revenue.
Didn't they just say
It's
something
not
about
gonna bring in,
high-rise?
it's gonna take away, it's going to make our taxes pretty much higher, because now you're accounting for other people who are not paying for it. So they're not paying for the schools, they're not paying for the education, they're not paying for the fire. That has always been the case in New Haven. Other people are the people paying the houses. I really think there
That's
should be
why
two.
taxes are so high in New Haven.
That's why there should be two mill rates, one for cars and one for houses, because people, it's not sustainable, people are paying 25, 30,000 for property taxes now, and it cannot continue. This is ridiculous what people are paying on property taxes, because everybody's not paying, it's, you know, it's, what is it, a regressive tax, or everybody's not paying, so you're bringing people in apartments, they're not gonna be paying even 1,000, they pay car taxes, which is about $400 or $500. That's why it's gonna add to the burden, not
Right.
decrease it, it's gonna add.
let's
Apartments,
stay-
houses will add,
can
but
we stay
apartments
on-
will,
But that's nothing to do with conservation.
no, but I'm just saying.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
keep chugging along here.
But from a value
But I think
perspective,
that's a
I
very
think what we were
important
talking
point,
about.
and I think
Yeah.
town members should know that. We know that, and it's not good. Okay.
But sorry, I'm curious just about the assessment, the value that they were doing. Did they have an environmental one?
I'm not sure, I didn't get that far.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know what they did in terms of numbers, they were,
be happy to look at that report in
That'd be
detail
great.
and that data. Should
Okay,
they
so
You're just-
Diane, I'm putting you down as
Are you
in
looking at
August,
the
you'll report on
report from, or a report
I'm
from the
listening.
consultants, or
I'm listening to the meeting.
to the meeting?
Yeah, I've been slow, I listen to it while I drive to work, so
You know, I
it
think
takes a while to
that
listen to a 5-hour
the
meeting.
TAC committee hasn't been given any final
You're good.
information
They
either.
were an advisory committee.
I know, but it seems like we might be given the benefit of knowing where it's ending up.
Oh, hey, here's Mika, we can ask him.
Hey, Mika.
Mika, do
Good
you know,
evening.
the process for what the TAC is at right now for the country club?
The engagement is the engagement is completed as of next month.
Sure,
So-
Sharon was curious if the TAC members or committee gets, notified of like what the final outcome.
I think the TAC, generally speaking, they will, each commission will. So through the fact that the TAC is comprised of the commissions, you will.
Okay,
But
And
I didn't know that there would be anything more formal than that, but I can ask
I don't
about
think
that.
there was anything anticipated, we were
Yeah.
just curious after the
I
Is
can
last
ask
there
about
meeting.
that.
Is there a final report from the consultants yet?
If you look at presentation number 7 on the website now, that'll give you, and there's more detail that goes along after that.
Do you know if they
Presentation number 7,
completed the environmental evaluation?
the environmental evaluation.
Yeah, were they trying to do like an environmental assessment on the economic benefits of?
Yes, whatever they had indicated they would be done, yes, they did, and they reported on it, and there's information, should be information available on that.
On that report? Do we have to
Not on
rep-
that, that's a presentation to the Board of Selectmen. I have to see if the actual, a lot of the detail, and it could have, that, if I'm not mistaken, was probably done in the previous presentation they did, with the previous material that they did. But let me know specifically what you're requesting, and I can make sure we respond to it.
Yeah, I think for the
So-
evaluation, what was it, the environmental,
Andrea Urbana was talking about.
yeah, like the environmental
It was the thing
economic
that they-
assessment.
This one they were talking about, like iTree
I don't
was
think
mentioned,
they-
and,
Well, iTree is one of them that talks about trees and
yeah,
shade and things like that, yeah, but there's,
They
I
did,
think there's more on the
they
property
did
than
a
trees.
bit of work on that, and they did respond to that very specifically with the
Because
report,
the
so.
board, the meeting that I was at, the board meeting, I thought they said that they couldn't do that, it would be too hard.
They could use iTree. iTree wasn't, didn't provide the information in a way that would be,
No, it was, they couldn't do the environmental economic
okay.
assessment.
I don't remember, Diana, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, we were just, thought, since you walked by and
Yeah,
you
yeah. by all
waved,
Can I
we
just-
took advantage of your kindness to
means. Yeah,
come
of
in
course.
and
You
hit
should
trial by
never walk
fire.
by.
Hi. But Micah, what's the next step that if we're anticipating wanting to have some input, when will that be?
Input in what regard?
I don't know, just, maybe we don't have a chance to have any input, but,
Or
Part of
even
the,
just
part of the
knowing what the
presentation,
next steps
part of what
are.
you'll see is an outline on, I think as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, it's on page 9.
Oh, and the
Go by
POCD
memory.
draft is out.
So, if you look on there, you'll see that there's a timeline with action steps on it in a timeline. So that'll
Okay.
give you a sense for what, you know, like what the expectation is. Right there, you just passed it. That's it. But no, what page is that? 8.
This is page 9.
9.
Nice.
Still haven't lost it all.
good job.
But what about in terms of sort of more granular things, like,
They usually,
they just had a presentation, but is there sort of like, I didn't finish watching the meeting, but is there sort of like, here's our final presentation and the board accepts it, and then, you know, what is that?
They complete their deliverables next month. Their engagement pretty much ends next month. That's when they put everything together and they, you know, they give us what it is that they've come up with.
And you guys just
What's
have,
next after that?
and you guys just have one more meeting with them, or is there
The
additional?
only scheduled meeting left with Cooper Robertson is next month, is the
Okay.
August meeting. And if we, unless we change the agenda for some reason and put it off, because we got a lot of stuff to cover. So, yes. In answer to that.
So what follows that? What's next?
What we decide we want to follow, where it's on
At
us
that,
now.
at that point,
It's up to us now to start. For example, one of the things they say we have to do is, for example, review it, you know, review the zoning requirements that we would want, that would enable us to do some of the things that that was recommended, if you will, and make sure that, and also what we want to make sure happens there so that it's not open to just general, want to overlay. We want to put an overlay zoning on it to make sure that we get what we
TPNC
want.
is involved in that, right?
They would have to be involved, yes.
Is a referendum involved before that?
For the TPZ, no, it wouldn't be.
Before the overlay? They have discretion to do the overlay without any input from the
Generally
community?
speaking, yes. Well, no, they get input from the community, they have to hold a public hearing.
They have to public
They do
hearing.
everything they usually do. They go through the same process
Do
they normally do with application. So,
Okay, and can I switch to another
Which holiday is
topic,
this gonna be on?
since Mika is here?
Sure.
It's lower in our agenda. I understand that the Nugent property, the state has, something has
that's
been
one of the reasons I
accepted.
was gonna stop in and say, yes, the state has.
That This is very good news, that the
It is.
Nugent, so
The
can you
state
tell
has-
us?
I can tell you definitively that they notified me that they made a $300,000 offer, or I'm sorry, $280,000 offer that was rejected. And they cannot go for more than the appraised value. So it was rejected initially, so we got in touch with them and said, can we buy it? Will you buy it from us if we buy it? And they said they were working on the logistics of that when the seller came back and said, we'll take your 280.
oh,
Great.
But it isn't signed, sealed, and delivered,
It's
but
not signed, sealed, and
but
delivered, so, you know,
it's-
anything can
Wow.
happen, it's a contract, but we've got a commitment from the seller that they are selling it to the state, and the state has confirmed that.
that is
And
great.
so
Well,
this,
great news.
because the state has confirmed that they will purchase it if it,
For
does the
280.
intention, sure, does the intention mean that then they will turn it over to the town?
No, they don't turn it, it becomes a part,
it
it
becomes
becomes their part.
part of,
So-
part
And
of,
we work with them in terms of the trails and things
So
of
we
that
can
nature,
do-
like we do.
They're
and
gonna be willing to let the Greenway go through there and stuff like that.
They've already indicated they have no problem with that, they understand what's there. Whatever process we need to follow to make it official, we will,
So
but we
you'll talk
can't do
to
that
us
until.
and we can be involved in
Until
that.
I would hope you would be.
Yeah. Okay,
so-
that's great, that is
Do
great.
you want us
Very
involved
good
in the
news.
overlay discussion also?
Which overlay discussion?
The one with TP&Z about the country club and the different zones?
Welcome any input, yeah, sure.
Great, okay.
So,
We'll follow up on that for
Okay.
zoning.
Any other good news you wanna tell us?
bad news is unfortunately.
I know, since we
really
have it
wanted
here.
to go after, and I talked to Parks Association, I talked to the Land Trust, but somebody else purchased 124 Seymour Road,
Oh.
which was disappointing.
Oh,
24
yeah.
Seymour Road.
That's the
It's
one,
It's
the
been on the
hiking
market for a
trail.
long
that's,
time.
It was
that's
on the
the,
market.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
was it a,
We hiked up
was it a
there.
developer?
I don't know that, Barbara, I honestly don't know that, but.
They have like 12
Yeah,
acres,
it really
right?
is. And it was situated very nicely. We had let them know that we were interested, but
Seymour Road.
Route 67.
Right, right,
67.
Oh,
67.
oh,
The
yeah,
Demanders.
Yeah.
She's so new to
what
town.
else? What else can I say?
But we have a right of access, right, for the trails that are there?
If I'm not mistaken, there's an
We
easement.
do
Yeah,
not
easement.
have an easement.
Right, I think.
Nobody's
they did.
ever been able to find the easement.
Right.
They've been looking for years
Sounds like
for
a
this.
job for
Presumably,
Tim
Of all
Austin.
people,
He's already looked at that. He and I were
Eric
the ones that
Demander
were going
presumably
after
put an easement on his own property, but apparently he didn't, as far as I know.
that. I have to, yeah, he and I had long conversations
Tim
about that.
Austin?
Yes. The other thing that what was the other thing I wanted to mention?
About the other property up behind Shepherd Farm?
No.
Has anything more come of that?
No.
Yes.
I don't know about
I
that
have
one,
some,
Barbara. I don't know that I know about that
Blue
one.
Hill, I have some
Well,
things
I
to say
know-
about that.
Oh, the
what
Blue Hill
Coop
one.
said.
Yeah, that's, no, I haven't heard anything more on that. Now I know which one you mean. You mean the one where he wants to give us,
15 acres
15
of the
acres, yeah.
30-odd, yeah.
which we would be happy to accept.
Would you be willing to make a permanent easement on that, or give it to the land trust?
Probably do an easement. We look at whatever
have the
options
land
are
trust
available. I
maybe
think it's.
Oversee that, because the blue trail's
yeah.
on there.
Yep,
Of
Mhm.
course.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
You know, we definitely
Isn't there an,
definitely worth discussing.
Well, I
Is this
think
the
he's
one on-
I think he wants to
Blue
give that
Hill Trail.
property,
Oh, I remember what the other thing was now. I'm sorry.
This is Justin and.
just,
and-
yeah.
I'm
And
at
I
a
think he
loss.
wants to give the
He does,
15
that's my
acres
understanding.
because he wants it preserved. So
Right.
one or
Right.
another,
Yeah, I don't
kind of
think there'd
needs
be-
to
I don't
put the
think
easement
there would be an issue with that at all. What I did want to mention to you is that I'm trying to figure out where we are with the Racebrook tract. And what needs to be done, or if
You
there's
mean for
anything
the-
that you guys have going on, because you were the ones who brought it to us months ago in regards to putting it on our agenda,
You mean the parking lot?
the parking lot.
parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but we haven't really heard anything since then. They've already got the approval from the state to do the curb cutouts that they need. And now it's just a matter of,
Us presenting it to you.
or not,
Or-
if that's not, if you don't
I
feel
don't
there's a
think-
need to, that's up to you. But I remember hearing it from you. And then I talked to Tim about it. He told me everything that was going on, what he knew about it. But where
Tim
nobody's
is the
doing
main
anything right
engine
now.
for that,
Yeah.
more than us, we're sort of the conduit
Sorry.
of his information.
taking this back 6 months? So we're talking about on Racebrook Road, the trails
Putting the
there,
parking lot in there.
right, putting the parking lot
mill.
in.
Using
the
millings,
millings, and then
using
we-
millings
Right,
for
using the
parking lot.
millings, which we were told
He said
no
no.
longer exist, they've already been somewhere else, right?
The
And
other
then we-
parking lot.
What, no, there will be millings. We're doing paving this year, so there will be millings.
So the question
But they're
was,
environmentally,
right, yeah, so then when we spoke last, it was about finding an alternative driveway, not
Tim
the
was
driveway
thinking of doing
entrance
that.
for the state, you can't, but Tim said I thought there's nothing going on. He said he heard nothing, it was dead in the water.
There's a apron that's required, that requires paving, so it
Right.
requires a contractor.
That's required
to
by
do
the
that.
state.
And then whatever you do on your property is what we do. Warren
Con-
has, Connors has, in the past, done research as relates to the environmental, using millings, like we are. Because we are gonna use them on the sides of the roads and things of that nature, to expand the roads, to make the roads safer, where we don't have shoulders and things of that nature. and we've used them in other areas in town specifically to reduce erosion and things of that nature. So he's indicated that he's looked into the environmental safety of that.
Yeah.
So, and he says that he's identified that that's not the case. We'll get some information from him on that.
Oh, I have some, research from the Green Schools Conference on it.
That
Okay.
says it is a problem.
It is
Yes.
a definite problem.
It is a problem, of course it is.
Yes.
Okay, so that's where the discussion is what, I don't think anyone is in disagreement about that, it would be good to have a parking lot, it's what materials to do that on, and it seems like,
Give us the information, we'll work with it.
okay, thank you.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Mika.
Mika.
Long night, Mika. Diana, do you want to be in contact with Tim about that and talk to him, because you know much more about the environmental impact of it than many of us.
Wasn't Tim the one who told us that he had no interest in it
Yeah, it's right
anymore?
here in my notes, I think.
He has no interest in what?
Or last month it was talked about, you guys said, Tim said, done, Diana gave an update on the parking lot for Racebrook Track. She informed the commission that at this time, Tim Austin does not want to move forward with the parking lot.
But it sounds like he since then has talked to,
No, it sounds like we didn't tell them. You guys gave it to whoever, the board of selectmen or whatever, you threw it out there and we didn't tell them that.
We did not throw it out there to the Board of Selectmen. We talked to them about how we would present it to the Board
Oh,
of
okay,
Selectmen,
right.
and we needed to have more information. And we were told that if we were going to recommend doing this, we would need to notice the neighbors who were there. So we went and looked at the different properties that were there, correct? And we started to talk about drafting a memo for the neighbors before we brought it forward to the Board of Selectmen to present. Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong.
Okay, but I'm just saying, we haven't actually like formally.
No.
It's just the way you made it sound, that they heard about it, then they haven't heard about it, and then I'm saying to myself, no one reads our notes because.
So what's
it's
the
like that.
reason that Tim doesn't wanna do it
I don't
anymore
think he
and?
said.
No, that's not.
Well, it was around the time that we were reaching out to him to say, what about looking at alternatives, since number one, the paving, stuff,
The millions.
the millings they had just used at,
They
you know,
have
the
one.
At the
Wetlands
country club.
So can you reach out to Tim and find out if he still does want to do it, and if he does, that we start?
It sounds like he wants to do it on his own. Sounds like he has been doing it on his own, but
I
sure.
don't understand, so
Yeah, I
we need
guess,
to
I guess the
understand more.
question is, my other question is if Tim doesn't wanna do it for whatever reason, is this still something worth doing that we should take up?
It sounds like somebody is still doing it and working with the state, because he just said that they got notice of the state, so somebody's having a
Yeah,
conversation
it's
about
furthered,
conservation
it's
somewhere.
furthered, it just,
It almost sounded like we indicated to them we wanted this to happen, and so they just started working on it and didn't hear that Tim had pulled out. So
Well, I don't think they would have,
Right,
that's not what it sounded like to
No.
me.
Okay,
sounds like Tim and Mika have been working on it.
Yeah,
and
Okay,
they're just
okay.
not
Working on it.
interested in the
In-
environmental aspect of not using
Sure,
the millings.
there you
I
go.
see.
And I
That's,
think that's why Diana can talk to Tim to figure out what his sentiment is and what,
I don't know if
well-
Diana has time
Well,
or interest in talking to Tim.
I mean, I think, which is a little off topic, but I think this brings up an extremely good point, that we have, through research, found out that millings are horrible environmentally, but Warren Connors seems to think that they aren't.
Well, the
And I
research
think
he
we
did
need
in
to-
1922 probably stated it was fine.
yeah, so I think that's probably a good point, is
I
that
think we need
we have an
to
interest in
address
it.
that, we have an
Yeah.
interest in
maybe
it.
we should
Yeah.
have some articles about it.
Well, we need to
How about some
Show-
research from some PhD students?
We need to show,
Not a
show
problem.
the powers that be, especially, I suppose, the Board of Selectmen and the head of Public Works, that they are
Well, that's right.
environmentally,
So this might be another statement,
yeah.
or,
I mean, I think we need to back up with the research that's been done, that this is not something that is good to use for parking lots anywhere.
What are millings exactly, I'm sorry?
They're the stuff that you, when you collect the pavement from a road, when you're redoing it.
When you're
It's like
redoing
recycled
it and
pavement.
it comes up like just ground up tar,
Oh,
it's obviously.
Okay, so
I'm talking about a whole new topic here.
I know,
because-
but we're not at new business yet.
Hmm?
We're not at new business yet.
No, I said that's why this may not be the place to pick it
Okay,
up, but.
but I'm not sure where we are with what Mika just brought up, is that there seems to have been progression on the Racebrook track parking lot that we don't know about, and
Correct.
it seems like it's relevant that we find out something. What?
Nothing.
So Diana, you seem to be the one most knowledgeable about the millings. Are you willing to intervene and communicate with people so that you can find out where they're at and what action we should take?
Sure.
Okay, that's great.
Where are we? Where is this on the agenda?
It's not.
Yeah, we're just at the CT Deep Trail Grant,
Yes.
update on signage.
No, can I go to that? Can I speak to that?
Yeah, if we're done with,
The country club, I think we
oh,
need,
so I guess the one area that we may think about is when Cooper Robinson does their last meeting, I guess it's gonna be in the next month. We could consider just giving a public statement, you know, because I think that, it sounds like that's when they're sort of delivering the final plan, and so if we had, that might be a place that we could make.
well, maybe some of the, maybe when you get to the bird registry, that might be the part of the final statement, is to letting them know really what some of the environmental benefit is.
Oh, so they did actually mention that they acknowledged that there were, you know,
Right.
endangered bird species there, which is good.
Or you might, given that you've been doing a lot of work in that, emphasize that in their habitat and some of their. The DEEP trail grant has gotten more complicated. We had signs made, they took the wrong PDF and they made the signs with the wrong PDF. They then turned the signs over and kindly redid it, and I have them all. But I then found out, Barbara and Karen Crosby, that a detail that we had not considered was that they want credit for the
Grant.
for the grant that is allowing these signs. So we're trying to get in touch with people there, but I have had no luck, and also
who wants credit?
the DEEP people.
Oh.
The people, the granting agency
They want
wants
on the
their
signs.
name on the signs,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
were
We have
not.
found out from Mike, who's been great doing the
Design.
design, that he could put a decal on there. I'm trying to find out from Kimberly Bradley if that's okay and what exactly she wants written, so we don't make another mistake. And I think that maybe a few of us should go through that grant and make sure every T is crossed, because that is key to it being done. And right now, a lot has been done, and this is like the final moment of compilation. Signs, I was gonna deliver them to the people who are gonna make the the wood structure that they're gonna be
Frames.
on. And they wanted to do a test one to make sure there wasn't mistakes there, but until I get this decal, I don't wanna do that. Once I get that, I think the signs could be made fairly quickly, once we get a template, and then I think we get them to Public Works, and they're willing to put them around, but that's gonna take some of us going around and showing them where we wanna put them around, which will be another process, since there's now 14 of them. So, I think we're getting very close, but this detail is a problem, and I understand maybe both of you are writing, lesson plans, which is part of one of the T's we need to cross, because we did put it into the grant. And I wanna get this grant done, so if you
I have
guys,
one to present today if you want.
okay, well, I just maybe wanna present that you have it rather than the details of it, cause this late meeting is gonna be long. But, Diana, you were gonna do one also? Could you do one?
Okay.
Um,
I need one of which topic do you want me to do it on? Which of the,
Pick
which
one.
site?
you can pick any one you want.
Which site did you do?
I
She
did
the
charcoal mounds.
Charcoal mounds.
That's so cool.
And
Maybe, matches? the match factories and match, well, maybe you and Barbara should work on that, since Barbara has all the information and knows the reality. I mean, but really, Bladen's Brook, the Serpent, the center of town, we're open to anything. So I think that it's hopefully gonna culminate fairly quickly, but I need to look at the grant and make sure we're not missing anything, which I had not really thought, Sue, since this is my first grant. Do you have anything to add to that, Barbara?
Well, one thing that I found in the grant that we have not addressed, and is not a mistake, but we haven't addressed it yet, is quote unquote the printing of trail maps, publication in regional and local news outlets,
Why do we say
in the Connecticut Woodlands magazine, and the CFPA trail updates, etc. We apparently said that we would be doing all that. So we need.
Oh, that's easy enough. Can you just send
Oh,
it
it's
over?
not hard, it's just that we need to do it.
that? Okay, who would like to do it, because I've done a lot already and I need some help.
Why don't we sit down one day next week to do it?
It'd be great.
Next week good for you?
Next week is good for me.
Okay.
And Barbara, do you wanna be on that?
Sure.
Because,
Because then we can sit, and even if we have a subcommittee of the grant trail thing.
okay, so
Val.
next week.
I can
meeting.
help out.
Well, we should only have 3, so. But yes, that sounds great.
Well, it can be a subcommittee meeting, we just have to take notes, minutes, right?
Yeah,
So at this point, since it's not finished, we would just be, how would we phrase this with these publications? It would be, do we have a launch date and?
The
No.
publications, I mean, presumably they are mostly for the finished product. I mean, we could put anything into the town newsletter anytime saying what stage we are, but I would assume at this point we are so close towards the end that we want to advertise that this exists, that we have done
we
this.
don't know how quickly the Public Works will be able to get these up and going.
Well, we were hoping to do something on the 28th, right, which was like Natural Resource
20.
Conservation Day,
28th of September.
July.
Well, if we can
July?
if I can get the decal done before Mike goes away, it's even possible, but I can't get in touch with people at DEEP, and if anyone has a way to get in touch with people at DEEP that can tell us what if a decal's okay and what to say, that'd be
You
great.
can't,
I've called
get-
Kimberly,
Kimberly just doesn't
Bradley
answer,
hasn't
or?
answered, I've left 4 messages, and I need to leave an email too probably, but
Where is she?
I don't know. But anyway, so it's a little timing is, so probably not by then unless we can,
Well, when I say where is she, I'm just saying a personal visit might make things happen. That's why I'm
yeah, but I
saying where
can't
is she?
even, oh, maybe in Hartford.
In Hartford?
But we
Is that
don't
where she-
even know when she's gonna be
October
around to
4th
make the
is
meeting.
World Wildlife Day. Want to aim a little later?
Well,
Yeah, I would like to make sure that the lesson plans, we have at least, maybe, if not all 14, maybe at least,
no, we're gonna have 1 or 2.
that's it?
Yep, and people can do them in the future. We wanna fulfill
Oh,
the
okay.
grant and we wanna get it going, cause we need to have these put in the ground. And it's gonna take TP&Z a while to get them done.
TP&Z's
I
putting
mean,
them in the ground?
Public Works.
It will take them a while to get those done.
Yeah,
They have
But
to go
Public
through
Works, we
training.
can always keep creating treatment plans, and that's great, and we can update them, and there's no problem with
You
that.
need
but
one per site?
I don't
That's
think
fine.
it's.
no, we
no.
did not say, I think it.
I think we
it
just
said
need to start the
3
process.
or 4.
Okay.
We might not have even said actually how many. That-
But if
just
we
that
can have
were
those
going to
done
do
by
them.
the end of this month, and if you wanna do 14, I would love it, but I'm not gonna make our grant closure dependent on that, because the town needs to get paid for all the money it's putting out before we spend months doing that.
And does, I did talk to Tony about this because I said he could, if he could quantify the hours for, Warren and everybody else who's worked on it, any time he's spent working on it.
Right. We already have plenty of hours for the 20%.
Tons of hours, yeah.
We have 200 hours of time being, have already been put into it.
You mean like of us?
Historic Society of
Yeah, no,
Water.
but employer, people who are on the
Oh.
town.
Tony
that
wants to know how many hours, then they're the ones that have to answer. We have
That's
no
what I'm
idea
saying,
how long
part
it's
of
gonna
that
take them
grant
to put
could
them
be
in.
covered, part of that grant can pay for staff time.
I know that,
Spent
but
on the
there's
project.
very little money left in that grant.
Okay.
And anything left can definitely go. And to digress a little bit, the money, I just found out from Andy Danzig, they have spent $700. You can put this in now. $700 we gave them to build, and Public Works is buying things on their wish list to use up that $700, and they're very appreciative of it.
Public Works is?
Yeah, Public Works is their buyer,
Cool,
yeah, so they can get a better deal, and they can.
great.
So that's all done, thanks to you getting that finance stuff in and all that stuff. Okay, so now are we on birds? So the upshot is that you guys are each gonna do one or more
Sure.
class plans, and
Can we turn the air on in here? It's 105 degrees.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was just me or.
No, I'm reading it from
I do want,
No, you can't, that does not work.
Does
You
it
have
work?
wind- No, that works, that doesn't.
But I mean,
Don't
that's
shut
telling
that.
us the temperature.
Yeah, well, I don't
Can I
know,
turn this
maybe.
Solid.
Or use your remote there too, Sharon.
on? What?
There's a remote right next to it on the ship.
Oh, I think it turned on. Okay, so
Good call.
that's gonna be done
Getting
by
warm in
the,
here.
that's gonna be done by the
We're all
end of
falling
July.
asleep, Sharon's
Is that-
sweating.
Okay.
well, I'd also like to have part of this process of it being vetted a little bit, because I'm not a science teacher and I'm ready to Barbara.
I have a, my director of curriculum and education is
Okay, then I'd like to have more than just myself, but I read
PhD
it
in
to one of my
environmental
sisters.
Okay, so the two of
education.
you can
All right, I'll
work
talk
on it.
next time.
She'll be great, because she'd be better than, that's fabulous, okay. So, I
Well,
think
she's
that's it,
fabulous.
and we're gonna have a meeting next week, and we'll, before we leave, before we walk out the door, we'll figure out a time. Okay, anything else with that? I'm gonna continue to work on the decal thing, and hopefully it'll be easy. Ben, would you like to tell us the birds on the state registry?
Yeah,
And
I
Barbara?
can give a little update on that. So I've confirmed that Nancy has added several species that are listed.
Hoot hoot.
So there's two main lists. There's Connecticut's endangered, threatened, and special concern species. This seems like kind of like the official state list, although it's a bit old. It's 2015, and she entered into the NDDB database four different species. So brown thrasher we talked about, northern parula, Savannah sparrows, and American kestrel.
Oh,
And then there's another list that is, this is something that DEEP maintains. So I think it's like a DEEP level list, and it's called the Species of Greatest Conservation Need. This list is more updated, so I'm looking at the 2025 revision. And there's additional species on here. So she entered from this list prairie warbler, barn swallow, American woodcock, and booming warbler.
Wow, great.
And so the next step is I just want to make sure that these actually like feed through to the database. So I think I'm gonna just validate when she actually put them in, and then try to do another request for a NDDB assessment and just see if these species come back.
nice.
And so that's kind of where we're at now. And then, this is just one person, so there's still sort of the effort of we need to go look back at eBird and see, how many different observations of these different species have been put in there and that sort of thing. So that I have not done, but it's cool to see that they found at least 8 listed species
That is great.
on there. Yeah.
So I think we need to start leveraging that a little bit and maybe, can you make a letter to that, about that to the Board of Selectmen?
Yeah, we can look at that.
Does that sound like a good idea, that they get informed?
Oh, I think so.
Also, Ben, I may have
Absolutely.
internet support that.
Any different
Yeah.
direction we can come from
Mhm.
to confirm the need for conservation there.
Okay. Anything else about that then?
Nope, that's where
So
we're at
you're
right
gonna,
now.
are you agreeing to write a board of selectmen?
Yeah, I'll make something around this,
Okay.
and I mean, I think
This is really
there's,
good work.
I think there's more information to come, but I think we can at least alert them that this is what
And
we
how
found so
about
far.
the bats?
I haven't heard anything yet.
Could you
But-
get in touch with that person?
Yeah, I'll check again.
Back to the bats.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Update on from commissions, TPZ, public hearing, conservation input. Okay. So TPZ, does anyone have any?
Well, apparently they just sent the POCD draft to the Board of Selectmen.
They just sent it to me.
Apparently, yeah, it's on, it was on the July 9. More Housing Commission ordinance draft, call for public hearing if appropriate. Hang on. The minutes. POCD update, so if you looked at the agenda for the Board of Selectmen for July 9th, there's a special meeting, they just had a call for an update to receive the draft and a call for public hearing. So the POC draft was received and discussed. And they discussed the public participation process and the importance of the public hearing. And the board debated holding the public hearing during the August 13th regular meeting or on the August 27th or September 3rd meetings. Deputy Muno, so Steve Muno, and Sheila called the public hearing to be held on August 13th during the regular board meeting. And the board continued the discussion on alternative dates. The board moved to call for the public hearing to be held on August 13th during the regular meeting. Andrea said no. Mika, everybody else said yes. So,
So public hearing is on the 13th.
Of
about the
August.
POCD.
yeah,
So that should be, we should let people know about that.
we should let people know about that.
And that report's available, I assume?
The draft should
Draft
be
should be
available. I can go to,
There it is.
you found it?
This isn't a referendum, this is just a public hearing. And they have to just listen to what people say, they don't necessarily have to make any changes.
Yes, and
Yep,
TPZ
there it
loves
is.
to listen what people have to say.
Yeah.
So let's just see.
This is a TPZ meeting or this is a BOS meeting?
There's a lot of documents that were
BOS.
submitted on the Fountain Street, everybody on their meeting. Town Planning and Zoning Commission. There's the 25 Plan of Conservation Development, the plan draft.
Moving very slowly for me.
Oh, me too. I'll race you to the finish line. Well, just keep ticking along here.
So it's a 65-day public comment period.
From when they present it, right? Or from the public hearing?
Yeah, I'm not sure when it starts,
I think it starts when they give it to the Board of Selectmen.
which is what they just did? Or,
Yes.
so the clock is ticking.
Well, you know what, on their website, they have 2025 update timeline. Oh, it doesn't seem to be there anymore. Oh, here it is. Project initiation, vision and plan, spring. Final POCD will be completed in spring 2025, right on time.
Right
And the
now,
town will have
yeah,
a
POCD.
65-day public comment period before the plan is adopted.
Let's do it.
You made it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Get rid of that.
They also have some survey analysis on there as well. Check out the community survey the community survey closed on July 15th. Check out the analysis below.
So when's the 65-day?
I imagine it's starting from July 9th.
So by September 10th, 12th, it's done.
So I'll send it to everybody,
Thank you.
and maybe we can include it with our minutes.
So when is the next TPZ meeting?
Well, it's not the 4th of July, so that meeting's passed. We know they have a Labor Day meeting coming up. I'll get to that in a second.
August 22nd?
I'll get you that in a second.
I'll get you that. Got it.
Okay, July 7th.
I think they have August 1.
Probably August 13th, yeah.
A lot of people
Their
don't.
hearing.
And that's,
They've moved their hearing.
That's what,
Oh, didn't they have another hearing?
Another.
Discussion and appropriate action regarding the following minutes of blah, 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 okay. Development of a solar project to be located at 16 Soundview Drive in Woodbridge. Green Skies will be following a petition decorating the siting council, okay. It's different, Lucian Street. Nothing about their next meeting, something on after the town calendar. See if they like to meet on Mondays right after us, right? So there. One second, please.
So, can I just, while you're doing that, Diana?
I don't see anything listed in August.
A lot of groups don't have it on this.
So the next one would be September, public hearing on September 3rd.
Second?
September 2nd.
Yes, but the Board of Selectmen are going to have a public hearing on this on August 13th.
So that's the thing we should inform people about. And is that the next Board of Selectmen meeting? Is there anything on the agenda before that?
They have no agendas posted.
Okay.
they don't
So,
post agendas.
so do we have anything else to say about TPZ and, we'll be at the, September 2nd
We
meeting?
should encourage people to read the draft and come up there with their thoughts.
Yes. Coupop, anything, is Coupop having
So
an
I
order?
did have one thing that has to do with TBZ.
Uh-huh.
I think this is the right time to discuss it. So I think the town finds itself in a situation that is probably, I'm trying to put this like in the best way possible.
Suboptimal.
Suboptimal is a good word for it. So, and I've been thinking a lot about
That's the other.
how we're sort of where we are. We're especially with the Fountain Street development. We're sort of right on the cusp of approving this project that really clearly the whole town is against. And I mean, you have to just go with the data. There's been hundreds of public comments so far, and I think 99% of them have been against these sorts of things. And so if there are members of the public that are for this, there's just no information that that's the case. So I think you have to really consider that the town is not for these things. Secondly, there's been a lot of testimony from even professional ecologists, scientists, that this is environmentally a terrible idea. And I'm sort of like, how did we get to this position? And I think it's really some structural problems with how the town has sort of structured their boards and the way information is allowed to flow in and out of different boards that's really led us to the place we're at now. So I think one really big issue, so let me back up a little. I think it's worth writing this down and making some sort of statement about it. About, hey, here are the problems that we're noticing, and these are things that need to get fixed at some point if we want to, make good decisions for the town and for the environment. So I think that one really big problem is there's no way to get environmental information to the TPZ. There's no formal method that they need to consult with, and they're not required to consider a lot of environmental information. I think they're required to consider environmental information as long as it's environmental law, but that's really just the bare minimum, right? It's not actually going to make any big changes into climate change or global change or anything like that. And there's not even an informal way to get information to TPZ, right? They're sort of really shut off from everybody, including us. And so, the best thing we can do is send them a letter, or make a public comment. So this means that the TPZ, if they're going to make good environmental decisions, they have to have environmental expertise on the board. But I think that's a lot to ask for a board to have. And this is in no way saying anything bad about the TPZ members. Like, they're just not environmental people, right? They just, I'm not a zoning expert, and I wouldn't expect to be. TPZ are not environmental experts, and we shouldn't expect them to be either. And furthermore, they're actually biased towards housing, because they have someone who is on the housing committee, and they have another person who actually works in housing. And so it's just really natural that without any sort of environmental knowledge, and maybe they do have knowledge, but they're not operating as though they do. They're sort of ignoring that. And so I think it's just pretty obvious that if they have no environmental knowledge, they have no way of getting environmental information from anybody, and they're biased towards housing, they're just going to start making these decisions towards housing, which
Without
really,
the environment in mind.
Yeah, without the environment, it's the way the board is structured.
And Ben, what you're also saying is that the people of the town have environmental concerns in mind that aren't being listened to because of this proclivity of the TPZ.
yeah.
So it's even a bigger divide than if people generally wanted to have the general milieu of the town. So there's a real disconnect.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
Disconnect is the word.
let me also interject that picture.
But it's
is-
self-inflicted.
That picture was taken at this very moment when they were having a public session. And they were asked about the plan of conservation and development. And I was told straight out that, oh, well, it really is the plan of development because you all have your plan of conservation.
Open space.
With the Greenway program, et cetera, and even though it's called the Plan of Conservation and Development, conservation doesn't particularly enter into it.
Yeah, and that's
And that
another.
was straight out by not TPZ, that was by the people in charge from the state. So there is no incentive at all for, but as I said to them, but development, you go through referendums and this and that, they don't have to make any, they can make whatever decisions they want to about
I mean, they could go
conservation.
through public hearings without.
And public hearings and all
Yeah,
those things.
They don't have to
and
consider
they
any
have
of that information, yeah.
no requirements whatsoever as far as conservation, so it's even a higher up
Well,
problem, it's a state problem that doesn't demand that TPZ weigh the environmental concerns.
well, is there something in the charter with Woodbridge that can address this issue about decision-making? And because what we're saying is that we think that the population is against some of this development. To me, it seems like there's an outside entity kind of pushing things. I'm not sure what it is,
Well,
but
the
there's.
state is itself. The state is pushing development.
I don't know if it's necessarily the
Well,
the
their
state
plan
that-
of conservation
because
is
But I think
pushing
it's a little
development.
more
I think
nuanced
it's
than
something a
that.
little bit more that's pushing something, because if you're saying that the majority of people are against some of the developments, but yet here we are and it's moving forward, there's something that it is a disconnect.
Mhm.
If there's something going on, and it's very powerful. I don't think people realize that there's something going on the other side, where Woodbridge is the target, and they're going to make an example of Woodbridge, for whatever reason. Maybe because they're small in size, but whatever happens in Woodbridge is going to reverberate with other parts in Fairfield County as well. So there's something going on. I'm not sure what it is or who's behind it, but it's much bigger than I think the TVZ. That's what I feel. There's something else going on. There's people that might be on the board that have other affiliations, but there's something else going on, I feel.
Well, I feel like when I listen to these public comments, people aren't necessarily saying they're against housing. And I feel the same way. It's just that where they're deciding to build houses is really terrible from an environmental standpoint. And this is sort of the other
Amongst other
point.
standpoints.
Yeah, there's several other standpoints, but just from a conservation standpoint, there may be much better places to build what they want to build from a conservation standpoint.
And in different ways that don't have to be.
Yeah, and so this is the other thing that we don't have in Woodbridge is we have the plan of conservation and development, but we don't have a plan that tells us where should you develop to minimize the impact on the environment, right?
But that's
where matters
supposed
a
to
lot.
be the plan of conservation and
But
development.
that's-
They're supposed to do that, but they don't, because they don't pay any attention to
Yeah,
it.
so like we really need somewhere to say, hey, here's where we should build to minimize environmental impact if we want to build. Instead, what's happening is developers are basically telling us where they want to build.
Right.
And we're just sort of being led by them, and obviously developers are not interested in environmental concerns.
Or the town, the overall quality of life and the
Yeah,
rural
no.
nature of it that we want
Yeah,
to preserve.
exactly, yeah, so I mean,
So Ben, do you have any suggestions of how we do this?
well, I mean, my thought was just, you guys could also give me other ideas, and then we could just sort of put together something that just says like, hey, these are really structural problems that we've noticed with
And present this to the
with
Board
the
of
town,
Selectmen?
and yeah, I mean, at least we can identify the issues. I think is a good start, and then
And people in town are concerned about this, so it might be a good time to start a dialogue, because we'd like to have our representatives more engaged in the environmental concerns that so many people are involved in.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a very different story if the whole town was pro-development.
Right.
You know, we would still be pro-conservation, but we'd be on a more lonely island, I think. But, it's clearly not in the best interest of the environment or the town.
So are you suggesting that you draft a letter and in the August meeting we share it?
I can,
Sharon really likes Ben drafting
Delegate.
letters.
Delegating, yes, she
yeah,
does.
this was something else that I would volunteer to draft.
Ben, you're getting
Yeah.
gold stars everywhere.
But
But Ben, realistically, I mean, listen, you and I have full-time jobs that are demanding, and we have wee little ones running around. Like, the time that we have to dedicate to writing these things is few and far between, with, especially considering it's beautiful weather and we wanna go swimming all the time. So, you know, I think it's important that as we, you know, rely on Ben and his creative writing skills, you know, cause it's more efficient for the majority of us, I do think it's important that we all help him out and maybe send him bullet points, write some things up, send it over, so he doesn't feel like he's doing it all from scratch. I think
Yeah, I take whatever help anybody wants to provide.
Okay, well, maybe, we figure out how we can do that. And the unfortunate part about this is all these things are coming due in the next month.
Mhm.
So my hunch is that our whole committee will have a different rhythm in about 2 months when these things that have been culminating for a year come to
Yeah, it
fruition.
feels like everything
So,
big is.
I mean, maybe we'll give you, but Betsy, Barbara and I have been doing a lot for this deep grant too, but I think, I have a feeling that that's gonna come to fruition, that we'll have some space and we'll be able to start working on the invasive species stuff and some other stuff that is more back burner, but I'm afraid there is a time crunch with these things. Do you get that same feeling as,
Yeah,
There's four
and
things.
some of this stuff I've been thinking about a lot, so hopefully the writing will not take that long. So, yeah, I'll just try to put them together and see how
get to
things
give
are
you a
going.
dinner gift certificate or something, so that a little more free time. Okay. Well, we won't give you anything else to do. So we talked about Nugent
Oh,
are we, Coop Hub?
the Coop Hub, I mean, I have to confess, I had a ton of things from Coop Hub, but I'm not sure that it should, I'm wondering whether I should simply write down the information and send it out to everybody, because there is a lot, and it's been almost a month since I learned it, so some of it I don't even remember what I learned. But one important thing was that they have asked us, well, yes, they have asked us to look at this whole property, the Blue Trail property, and to give them our input on it.
as to where the best places are
That
to develop,
Raffone
or-
is, the man's name is Raffone,
Justin?
who
Raffon?
owns, it's 31 acres.
Nice.
I've spoken
You
to
all
him a
know
few
where it
times.
is.
Yeah, you know,
Up behind
Dillon Road.
Shepherd's Farm, you enter it from Dillon Road. It's not on Dillon Road, you have to go into the, sort of in the trail, I guess they
It's
have a
Blue
right of
Trail
way,
Road
but,
or
yeah.
something.
And then it's 31 acres going along the ridge.
You know where the water is,
So can I speak to this? This is kind of
Fall
new
over there.
business, but I've been talking to Andy and Justin, and they are
Andy and Justin,
are the two owners,
yeah, okay.
and they want to build 3 houses and give 15 acres to some entity, either it's the town or the land trust, and have an easement, and they're very interested in protecting the land. I'm talking to them about what is the best decision. I think Nicole is also talking to them and thinks that giving to the town and doing an easement, I've seen, unless it's a really signed, sealed, and delivered easement, I've seen the town get land and change some of that agreement. So I'm suggesting it goes to the land trust. I think he's leaning more towards the town, and I don't know if it would be appropriate for us to write a letter as to why we think one might be better than the
Well,
other.
doesn't he wanna have a conversation with us?
Yes, he would love to, he would be more than willing to have a conversation with us,
Should
maybe
we,
in August.
invite him to be on the August agenda, and then that way we can provide him
And
some
can
input.
I,
And also provide him with some, you know, boilerplate language on how to add a conservation easement to the deed.
That's a great idea.
And then back to Barbara's list.
Okay, good. What else about that, Barbara?
no, I just wanted to, on that point, this has happened before, with donation of land to the town and the trust and so forth and so on. And the solution has been, in a sense, to give it to both. And the reasons, the lawyers' reasons are so that it is protected. Truly, one agency or the other is gonna stop the other agency from doing what
That's
Sure.
fine with me.
It was Masara, that's how that got to be owned both by the town and the land trust.
And isn't there another piece, there's a few other easements that are,
There are pieces that the town owns that the trust has easements
yes,
on.
yes.
The town has given them this.
Oh, that's
And
different,
that's
is that
possible.
different than what you're talking about for
That's
Massaro?
possible, it's possible just for both agencies to own them jointly. So that they are protecting
Yeah,
one
like
from
you said.
another.
Uh-huh,
So it's different scenarios that can be used in this particular situation. Because as you say, it's more probable that the trust would continue its protection, whereas the town might change its mind someday and decide they wanna,
Right.
it's land to sell,
right.
et cetera, et
So,
cetera. So
I think inviting them on for the August meeting would be a very good idea. We have to decide when that August meeting is, but.
So
We
should
do?
I report back to
We have a
Coopop
meeting
that we are
scheduled for
going to
August
have a
7th.
discussion with them? Is that what you're asking me to do?
Yes. That we'll have a discussion with them and then we'll get back to them after August 7th.
Okay.
Hopefully they can come to that meeting. So,
Coopop.
Or-
Oh,
No, the seller or September.
the buyer.
what about having a representative from Coopop come to it too? Just throwing
Yeah,
it
no,
out.
August 7th is a bad day.
Just,
Why is it
I don't know, because Kathy can't attend.
I just scheduled something, I forgot.
so should we change that meeting and make it a special meeting at a different day?
Yeah.
I'll look tomorrow and see what's available.
It's not on the agenda.
Ah.
Sorry, okay. Back to the Coopop properties.
all right, I will tell Coopop that. The question is whether one wants a representative from Coopop to come to a meeting with Raffone Brothers or not. Or meet with them first or what.
I mean, I think we can meet with them.
Yeah, I don't think we should do them on that.
Alright, that's where the question. They have several of the properties that we have reviewed, they have made decisions on. I can just list them and tell everybody what it is. There's nothing terrible, as far as we're concerned about it, but there are some good things. They are going to be discussing some properties in July, and we don't have time to look at them.
What properties are they?
49 Manila, 18 Osborne, 312 Rimmon Road, and where is that? Because we need to discuss that too. I'm trying to think of where that is.
Is
312 Rimmon. Oh, I know what it is. It's the Meese property.
I don't know what that is.
It's a large piece of property that was given to the town for a school. And it was decided that by the town that it was not appropriate place physically for a school. And so they still own it, but it's a big piece of property.
And where is it?
It's between Northrop and whatever else is down towards
The dump.
Seymour and Ansonia.
So right after Northrop, the land kind of dips down before.
Yeah, and
Oh,
there
yeah.
are other pieces of property in there, but the Meese property is sitting in
And how
part of
many
it.
acres is it?
I don't know, but it's a
2,
lot.
10, 30?
Yeah, it's a big chunk.
Probably
You
20.
I thought we looked at
I
these.
can,
I thought we looked
Can't
at these
really judge.
properties.
Uh-huh.
Isn't it 20 or?
I don't know, I'm not looking at the right website to get the acreage, but you can sort of
Look
see
at
that it's,
look at the,
yeah, I can never find that.
here, I'll get it.
Okay, so.
Oh, here it is. There's the Woodbridge GIS. Okay, so this was
312.
312, what was it?
Rimmon. No matching results.
Oh, maybe it's this. That's a good. There we go.
What's the address? What's the address again?
312 Rimmon.
What does it say? 16 acres.
16 is all?
16.5.
2.5.
I thought it was more like,
So,
30.
is Coopop just, they haven't said anything about
no,
what
no,
they think about it?
but they wanted our input.
It's zoned as, wait, land use, commercial vacant land, zoning A.
Jeez.
Is an A residential? I don't know. I don't
A
understand all
should
this.
be residential.
Mhm.
I thought you
So it's 49 Manila, 18 Osborne,
Brat.
sort of the other side of the fence. 312 Rimmon, 27 Crum Elbow, and 30 Lorraine. I think we've already talked about 30.
And when is their next meeting?
The
Are they having?
28th.
Oh. Hmm. Are you looking at some of those others?
No, I just was just curious if this is part of any sort of like forested.
It is totally forested.
Let's see.
But there was also other land on Rimmon Road that was just was being developed.
Oh
and
yeah,
they
look at
gave
that.
us some.
It's kind of part of this. Kind of backs up against this.
It goes right next to the property that we talked about a couple of years
Mm.
ago that connects with the,
Right,
Osborne
it goes,
Lane.
and that's one that's being developed now.
Right,
And then
that's the one that
that's all
they
the protected
gave
land.
a bunch of
So
property
this
to
is
the
protected up
trust.
here.
Yeah, I think that's the equivalent is State Forest Reserve.
Oh,
It's
okay.
that's the
Naugatuck.
Ansonia State Forest. This property is not contiguous with
Well,
that, but
it's close.
it
There's,
abuts on some that is
Right.
involved with the trust, et cetera, et cetera.
A bird might see it as contiguous. I mean,
even animals could see it.
yeah,
as
it looks contiguous from a satellite view.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And the
I do
land
see
trust
little houses
owns
in
that.
there.
Land Trust owns some of the land back there. They have an easement from the developer
Yeah.
and some other back there. It's a pretty special piece of property.
Yeah.
I know it from
And are there any
quite a
wetlands
while.
on there? There's a little bit of wetlands, I think.
Yeah, there's some other.
Yes. We're still on Rimmon Road we're talking about?
Yeah,
Not the 36 acres of the Mies?
It is. It seems like 16 acres. Did you get 36?
36 is the one just south of it.
Oh, is that also Mies?
Yeah, this is
Oh.
town of Woodbridge.
Oh,
East Harriet, trustee.
oh wow.
But
Is that
that's
also Mies?
180 Ford Road.
180 Ford Road is,
Yeah, that's 36 acres. That's a big piece.
Yeah, but
that's
that's right next to it,
there, that's the Mises, yeah.
Yeah, so,
That
Mm.
still belongs to the
That's
Mises.
not
I
for
see.
sale. Or
Right.
not.
No, no, no,
It's
That has
question.
nothing to do with
Okay.
this.
But it is also.
and there's also
being-
the Rimmon Road LLC that owns land right next to
That's
it.
the one that's
And
being
then-
developed now.
Right.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, it says.
But it has some land trust land and access that connects
That's
it
the
to
one that we
the.
dealt with a
Naugatuck,
couple of years
yeah.
ago, and
Yep.
they gave the
I think this
the
back part
development
is given to
10%
land
to
trust.
the trust.
Yeah, this is land trust here. This.
And then there's
little-
some more
little
that was
weird
owned,
Strip.
piece here. Yeah.
owned by,
But it makes it contiguous with that. Here, if we take that out, can you
So-
put that without?
Let's see if I can move this. It won't let me move it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, I can make it bigger. Doesn't help.
But it looks like the Mies property is contiguous with that, but you can't.
it does, yes.
I don't think it is.
Oh, because that gets in
There's
the way.
this piece here.
It's a vacant lot
That's
though,
the big
so it is.
330
Rimmon Road?
Is that the one that's being developed?
Yes.
And then there's this. But then there's this. That's another residential.
But as you said, in bird's eye view, they're not necessarily developing that back part of that land.
Yeah, I
so
imagine
it's-
they're putting the house up
Yeah.
here somewhere, so this is, this is open space too.
And this is open
Wildlife.
space too. So I think it could be said that there's some continuity there.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, plus,
Do you have to go?
I should have gone hours ago.
Oh. So I need to go pretty soon myself, so. if we could-
I can't answer you, no. I need to
Okay,
answer
so
you.
how are we gonna deal with these properties? Do we each wanna take one and look at it and get back to me with your thoughts so that you and I can talk about it?
When are you going to coop up, when do they have to
It's
get
the
this?
28th.
They want these by the 28th,
Well, their meeting is the 28th, yeah.
and these are the ones they're discussing at their
They're
next
discussing
meeting?
on the 28th, yes.
They probably aren't deciding till the next
No,
meeting.
no, they won't decide, I don't think, but they're,
But it would be a good time to have some.
Well, I think
input.
it's nice to hear what they have to say, like if they've already done some work on it and their plans are,
and they,
let's just
they
keep
are
it
all
the same or
doing
whatever.
work, yes.
So can you go to that 28th meeting?
Yeah, I had planned to.
Okay. Maybe you give us a heads up so that we know what we need to do for their next meeting.
Right.
Which will probably be to review those properties, we should just plan to do that on our next one. That does bring, where, I don't know where we are on the agenda, but,
The other big thing, and I don't know, maybe everybody knows already about the whole, police department and Coopop's decision on where they should put the new police building.
next to the fire department?
No. That has too much wetlands.
Oh,
I knew that.
drumroll.
They had 5 different possibilities. One was 100 Center Road, which is
Okay,
Fitzgerald.
just cut to the chase, this is too stressful.
And they, and it has too much wetlands, and they just disregarded that. 149 is part of Public Works, and they said no, I guess it was too close or too much in there. 151 has a lot of wetlands, again, they said no. The 2 that they decided on possibility was number 5, Newton, which is the corner of Newton and Center. Right next to the trust property, right across the street from the library.
Terrible.
I thought they
And-
decided against that. They
Well,
changed their
wetlands.
mind.
I thought
too.
they had decided against it too, but suddenly it has wetlands, but they suddenly came up with, as far as Coopop was concerned, that was their choice.
I was gonna say, isn't that whole area wetlands also?
It's not.
Is it 5
all.
Newton Road?
It's 5 Newton Road, yeah. And the other
I'm just
one was 11 Meeting House Road, which is actually where the tennis courts are, even though that looks like it's on Center Road, but the address is Meeting House. And again, I don't understand the reasoning behind it, but that was their second choice, and part of their reasoning for it being their second choice is because the tennis courts have to be moved. Well, the tennis courts have only been there for, I don't know, 15 years or
Yeah,
whatever, and
a
tennis
lot.
courts can be moved. They've got, they've got
It would seem to me that the tennis courts
several
would
other
be a
places
good
tennis
location.
courts could go in Pease Road or the Pease Road
I
place.
thought they were
or-
gonna put some back at Peace Park, and more
They
to that.
probably are, but they are all concerned that the tennis courts have to be moved.
So those are the 2 places.
Now, which one gets more action, would you say? The tennis courts or the police department?
Anyway, that's just to inform us, those were their Coopop's first choices. Now, I had been to another Coopop meeting where the chief of police was attended, and he, I think, was choosing that, the Meeting House Lane, because it kind of, it can connect with the town hall, it's very close to the
And
fire
also,
department.
the fire department, that's a curve that would be tricky to get fire trucks, police cars in and out of so much. Not that
So,
great a spot.
And there's so much traffic there with the school. Like when the kids come out and the buses are coming in, and you got Beecher Road right there and the high school
but we
next to
have
it.
new
Just
sidewalks.
should we put the buses on the sidewalks, or the police troopers go on the police troopers take bikes now on the sidewalks,
Or what are those
or they just segways?
segways?
Okay, so Well, they're battery operated, so
That's good. Okay, so that's a good report, that's
you
painful.
just have to make sure that sidewalk get to every house in town.
Anyway, I will list for everybody what
Well,
their
you can-
decisions are for
Do we
these
wanna
other
vote
properties.
on which one we would like Coopop to do more?
The Meeting House Lane is just the complex of Meeting House Lane and where the tennis courts are, or is it?
It's where the tennis courts are, and it would probably include, I think it includes the corner where the remainder of the woodland
it?
is.
I see.
Okay. All right,
Um,
brutal.
Yeah, you can look it up on the GIS and see exactly, it is.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, I don't think the
It's
trails.
11 Meeting House.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you put it over there, you're sort of spreading it out on more property, and that Newton Road has got wetlands over there, a fair bit,
Yeah, I mean, it feels like
20%.
11 Meeting
Property.
House is sort of already disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be cutting down a small forest.
Well, but also, there's that massive parking lot there, right?
Which could be utilized by the police too,
Sure, yeah.
as a parking lot.
The other thing they could look at is if they are disturbing that, how they have a carport right now for their cars, if they wanted it again. They could do a solar carport. They have some good infrastructure there already with the charging stations. And is this where the fuel cell is?
Is what?
Fuel cell
Is that where it,
is located? Yeah,
I don't know.
okay. Maybe it's at the high school.
I don't know whether they'd have to move the cell tower that they have now on the top of the police station. I have no idea whether they'd have to move that or not, or leave it where it is. And I don't really know what anybody thinks they're gonna do with the police station, the present one.
It's such a fine building.
Since we don't have any meeting space, we're turning the firehouse into a meeting.
So did they rank these options or just say these are our two options?
It was 1 and 2. The meeting house was the second,
Oh,
was 2. And
so
the-
5
and
Newton was the
5
first.
Newton was, that's Coopop's choice.
Mhm.
It was my understanding from the meeting before that the police chief felt oppositely,
Wow,
Who is now retired.
who is now retired. Yes,
as of last month, right?
30th, yeah.
the 30th? Is that-
30, yeah.
So we agree with the police chief? Is that
I
what you're saying?
do, personally, I
Yeah,
think
I would
it's
say-
it's a
I mean,
much better choice.
from an environmental perspective, the 11 Meeting House Lane looks like it's already disturbed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from a recreational perspective, I don't see the massive amount of value that, you know, the tennis courts, those are not the only tennis courts in town that we have have a lot of them. If we were talking about the ballpark, you know, in the lower fields, I think those are utilized more, the soccer fields and everything. And then looking at this other one here, you know, we have serious wetlands there, and it's low-lying, and the water table is quite high. And I think we would have learned our lesson already. We built the high school there, which has led to significant building health and safety issues in that complex for years and years. The molds, the asthma rates. I just don't. I don't see the benefit in building in that area. In fact, I think we would be, you know, fighting a building performance battle constantly. And I think the police deserve a place that has, you know, that's healthy and safe and better for their performance and, you know, overall work environment, in my humble opinion. And also on the exit and entrance of that space, if they are entering from Meeting House Lane You know, whereas Newton Road is very popular for traffic specifically because people are going to the high school, they're cutting through to Seymour Road, and they're going back over to Beecher and cutting over to Center Road. I feel like that, not many people are going up around Meeting House Lane to make that connection unless they're trying to skip a bus or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of
It just seems like
things
from,
coming together
it's,
from a traffic perspective at 5 Newton Road.
right, it
And
seems
that
like
corner
they're,
is actually a pretty fast, almost blind corner. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people come around that pretty fast, and because I come out of this driveway all the time, and actually Rachel almost hit me once because I pulled out in front of her. I was like, sorry.
right, yeah, exactly. So the, you know, and I think the, yeah, I think that police vehicles would be better protected entering and exiting their campus from Meeting House Lane. You know, I mean, I know they're going on and off of Center Road right now, so that's more of a straight shoot. Everybody's prepared for that, but I just think Newton Road already has so many.
Oh, did we
Traffic
write a letter
issues.
to this effect?
Sure.
Is our,
Were they gonna do any kind of environmental studies prior to making a decision, or is that part of the process,
I
planning
don't
process?
know.
We've seen how that goes.
But I think, you know, there's wetlands on this one, and so we can write our memo to include that. You know, it's a little further away from, you know, because you have the track right there, it's further away from the forest, but,
What's the
I'm
buffer
not
on-
exactly sure who makes the final decision on this either. I suppose Board of Selectmen, I'm not sure.
Of course.
With help with engineering, I would think, because there's so many engineering or.
Does it have to be zoned differently? I mean, it's zoning A right now. If it was 5, the courts are,
What's the zone of the what's the school zoned at, or the, whatever it's called, Woodridge Center, the police station.
it doesn't have a zoning, it's called multi-account complex. That's the name. It doesn't have a zone associated with it though. I mean, on this app anyway, there probably is one.
All
What's
right,
the-
that's the cue, we're putting Kathy to sleep.
Does anybody know the buffer for wetlands? So there's definitely, on the inland wetlands soils map,
I
there
believe 100 feet.
100 feet.
I hear that a lot in the office.
100 feet review area.
You have to stay 100 feet away from
Mm.
wetlands.
I mean, I assume they looked at that already.
No, I don't think they did.
Yeah, that's, I don't know if they have enough acreage there with that 100-foot buffer.
How many acres is it again?
5.9.
Yeah.
How much? 5?
5.9.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
including the wetlands though.
Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
zone A,
You
the,
sort of see the wetlands kind of cuts out the corner.
Right.
I have a feeling the town one over there might be zone P.
It's this one right here.
Interesting that they don't have a. Yeah, the multi,
It's
That
that
little
piece there, and so
fan-shaped area.
100 feet is
Wetlands
hard to
are the
know how
white,
much that
right?
is. It probably makes it like,
Yeah. Or is the white?
I would think there
wetlands-
might be, I think we need to get that reflagged. I
yeah,
don't think
because
that was
these
inaccurate.
are probably just very coarse
Yeah.
maps, you know. So you'd actually have to go in there and like check the soils, and
Can I-
they might be more extensive than this.
Can I move us on a little bit?
Yes, please.
Um, so, what's new business? I don't know that we have to really probe any of it.
I'm sorry, I know we had like the Nugent meeting and we talked about Board of Selectmen, Sharon and I gave an update there. And then also, Ben met with the other Chris Sullivan from
Oh,
the
right, yep.
South Central
Okay.
Conservation District.
Sorry about that.
So I can give a really quick. Were you done?
I'm done.
You're done. I can can give a super quick
Talk loud. AC is
overview.
going back on.
Please.
So, yeah, I met with Chris Sullivan, who works for the Southwest Conservation District. I didn't know really what it was, so he told me what it was. So it was, so basically it's a service that's shared, conservation service that's shared among all the New Haven County towns. And so every town pays a little bit of money to them, and so we get some services from them. But they're kind of a small shop. And so a lot of what we discussed was our needs for different management plans. So one of them was the invasive species plan. And then one of them was this, this thing that I mentioned with TBZ is like, we need a plan that tells us where we can best build to minimize the impact on the environment. And also a plan for managing the country club from an environmental perspective. So he said they don't really have staff to do these plans. But I mean, one thing that came to mind, I didn't talk to him about this, is maybe they could help us like pick a vendor or something, or pick a consultant to do a plan for us. So I'm assuming we're not going to come up with our own plan. We would have to sort of like hire someone to come up with a management plan. And so maybe that's something they can help us facilitate.
And
Other
help
than
us find.
Yeah, other than
funding.
us just Google searching,
Yeah.
So
Well-
maybe that's somewhere, and then, we talked a lot about conservation mowing. We just kind of got on the topic. Yeah, and,
So funny.
because this has a lot to do with the country club management, and so it's, how to maintain that conservation value as a meadow open space. And so there's, we don't want to just mow it all the same, so there's sort of this like, different plans for mowing at different times, so you have different stand ages, and then you have to think about, there's box turtles or nesting birds, and so there's different times when you don't want to mow at all. He sent 4 documents that they had put together for other towns about conservation mowing that looked pretty useful.
Who was the gentleman that we had? He was in the room when we presented
No, I'm trying to remember the time.
at the board of selectmen. He was behind us. Is he a forester, a tree guy? Or? We were talking about invasives. You know who he is. You said his name.
Totally forget it.
He works for the town.
Adam.
Adam. There we go. Right?
Parsons. Adam
Parsons, that's it, yeah. So maybe it would be good to,
Is he in the facilities?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
Okay.
he's,
Yeah, I think they mentioned he knows the invasive species pretty
yes,
well.
Yeah.
he knows his business. He really is good at it.
so I wonder if
And
it would be
very,
helpful to,
very
he was
sympathetic.
interested
Maybe you should
after.
come talk to us in September, October, when things calm down a little bit.
Sure, but, well, that's far away from July, but he did mention that after we sent some of those, recommendations to the board about, the 2 or 3 things to do at the country club, that he had adopted those
Okay,
and
that's really
was
great to
applying
hear.
them, yeah. So I bet he would be interested in reading some of those
Yeah.
things and just talking
Good idea.
about,
Okay, yeah.
So,
Yeah, he's a super guy, he really is.
yeah.
Is he the one that's going to install it?
yes. I'm gonna be talking to him a lot. So Ben,
By
And
the
then
way, I
incidentally-
would like to run those places.
And then sort of related to,
I'll go.
yeah, go on.
okay. So sort of related to invasive species, I've been trying to contact someone that could kind of work with us on invasive species plan. So I'm sort of like, I've emailed people, but they've referred me to other people, and so I'm kind of still working on that, but that's
Fabulous.
something that's going on in the background.
Okay. So we move on to new business now.
Yep.
Thank you. Fitzgerald property, the reason that's on there is because Andy Danzig was getting a forester out there. There's some sort of grant or public free service, and he was employing it, and it was last month, and I will call Andy and find out what happened with that.
Open space definitions.
I think Coupa, Coupa would like us to figure that out. I think it's actually very tricky, and I think we should put that.
Extremely
It's-
tricky because nobody
Agrees. So,
has,
but they'd like some guidance, but I think we put that onto November, that's a winter plan. I don't think there's any urgency to it, or maybe there is, but I think
they're looking for it. What's his name called me and asked me if I could come up with a proper definition. And they're looking for it and trying to make a decision about all these properties. I mean, they're looking for it as part of their decision. on all
Is this
these
from somebody from the board, or selectmen, or COOPOP, or
COOPOP.
TBZ? Okay.
You know, there's a group that, it's like a state level group, like an open space state level group that sort of, I don't know, I don't think oversees open space, but sort of tries to cohesively bring together all the different open space organizations. I emailed the director before. I wonder if they have some definitions.
Maybe.
Because, I
Because
mean,
for instance, they said, okay, what's open space? Can you put a building on open space? Can you do this? Can you do that? They're looking for information to help them make decisions on it.
Yeah,
And I think it would be good for all of us to.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the reality
effectively
is
open
it's
space you can.
probably a term that encompasses lots of more granular terms, and you should probably always use the granular term because it
Right.
matters which one you
Right.
use.
And then, social media, I guess Rachel, we need to get her going on that, because she's talked about it a lot, and I think we're a little stalled out.
So you're gonna email this,
I'll email her again. I owe her an email.
Who? Rachel, or,
no, this is
The
about the
Open
open
Space Council, I think that's,
We're looking for a definition to open space? Is that what you're?
Well, definition and what you can do with it or what you don't do with it, just if something is declared open space. Effectively, you can do almost anything with
yeah, it's probably like
commercialized it,
a meaningless word.
yeah, in a
you know.
sense.
Yeah, so,
People think of it as the whole thing is that people think of the word open space on a Fitzgerald property as it's preserved. It's not. The owners can effectively do anything with it. It's kind of like the National Trust. If you're on a historic National Trust, if your house is on it, you can do anything you want to. They may remove you from the National Trust, but you
it's
can.
somewhat nebulous.
Yeah,
They're
it
in
could
too
have
much
more than
teeth
one
in it.
definition, correct?
Pardon?
It could possibly have more than one definition.
It could, but this is what we're trying to determine, authoritatively, the word open space, what does that entail? What
What
can be done,
protections
what
can be
can,
ascribed to it?
what can't be done, what can be done, what does open space mean?
yeah, this is,
If you build a gazebo, is it still open space,
I'm
You
very
build a firehouse.
sympathetic to this because this is, like, ecology is just loaded with terms that don't really mean anything.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm always on the lookout for like actual definitions of things, so this would be good.
Yeah, but I go back to that original development we had back in the beginning, I think it was near Beard Street. And even though there was a development there, we still looked at open space in terms of 10%. So it wasn't the, I remember we did the whole development and we were advocating and trying to vie for, we wanted the 10%. I don't think we got it, it never went into fruition.
10% was given.
Yeah, the 10% was, it just wasn't
It
the
just
one that
wasn't
we
where
wanted.
we wanted it.
Right, but that was, there was a consideration, that's also open space, although there was a development, so
And-
that could be part of
And
the
there's
definition.
But the
Definition.
10%, that's a good example. The open space in that case meant that they could not develop it, but develop it for housing or commercial purposes, et cetera. But the questions come up, open space, can you put a bike trail on it, kind of thing?
Right.
And in point of fact, you can. There's nothing it says no.
It doesn't say it needs to be environmental pristine, which is partly more what we
Correct.
would like. So, before we close, can I write down what each of us have agreed to do? Or reiterate so that you guys make a list of it? Are you guys okay with that? Diana?
Okay, sorry. Oh, okay, we'll do the member comments after.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, process of Woodbridge Country Club, where we are in the process and if we need to do anything about the Woodbridge Country Club, a lesson plan for Deep Grant, and more information about with Tim Austin about millings.
Sure.
Ben, a bird endangerment, write about the bird endangerment to the Board of Selectmen, is that right? Look at what were you gonna do something with the POCD draft?
I was going to make a statement about sort of structural problems with TPZ.
Yes, that was the TPZ letter.
Uh,
Okay, so,
And then I was also going to make a statement about Fountain Street.
right?
So what's our statement on that?
And you're gonna talk
And
to
email
Adam.
someone about joining as an intervener if they want that and why they
Okay.
want that.
And also talk to Adam Parsons and look for a definition of open space.
Yep.
Okay, Sharon's gonna talk to Brian Pines about Fountain Street, and if we're the intervening, and then I should talk to you about what I find out, right? I'll communicate that with you. I'm gonna keep working on the deep thing and try to get the decals done. And keep the process going, and also talk to the people at the Blue Trails subdivision and see if they can come to our next meeting, but we need to figure out the time when that is, and talk to Rachel about social media and where she is with that. Barbara, you're gonna keep following Coupop, and then you and me and Barbara, we're gonna Val, we're gonna meet about something else. What are we gonna meet about? Also, we'll meet about that, something that we need to meet about.
What's the trails, I thought.
What?
And Diana was.
Yeah, who was that?
I thought it was about notifying CFPA and publicizing the outreach, public outreach
Public
notification
Applications
of,
for the
that-
deep grant.
Okay, so that's more deep grant. Okay, that's great. And then, Val, you're gonna work on lesson plans, and hopefully Rachel's gonna work on social media. You wanna work, and you're gonna do work with the deep grant too.
I can help with the publications.
What?
I can assist with
Okay,
publications.
publications.
if you want.
Okay, are we missing anything? And then we think of also, and that we're gonna talk up the August 13th meeting and the September 2nd TPC public hearing. Okay? Does everyone have that clearly? So, do we know when our next meeting is gonna be, and does it have to be a special meeting?
so if we're getting to member comment, August 7th is our next meeting, which doesn't seem to work for folks, and one thing that came out recently was the affordable housing round table event.
Right.
This land conservation affordable housing round table. And Andrea shared it,
Andrew?
Andrea Urbano shared it with everybody. And Nika then forwarded this on to Kathy, it looks like. Kathy Hunter, who's really excited that it came out, and then they CC'd you and I on it. And they said, oh, it would be great to bring, multiple commissions together in one room to watch this. Ultimately, we was deciding that the housing committee would send this out and encourage everybody to watch and convene, whatever. So I said our same invitation still stands from Conservation for Your Committee to join us at a joint meeting. And she responded with, perhaps we can schedule this for August. while the session is still fresh in our minds, would that work? Next housing meeting is August 6th, which is that Wednesday. I have a sustainability meeting that night at the same time, so I can't do that. The following Wednesday is the August 13th Board of Selectmen meeting where they have a public hearing for everything. So I'm wondering if folks are, here are our options. We could meet again in 2 weeks on July 31st.
If it's open, check the rules.
Nothing's on the calendar.
July 31st is possibly bad as well.
It's your anniversary. It's also Harry Potter's birthday
Oh, goodness. He's still around.
and
Apparently.
my father's birthday.
My kids used to.
Careful, don't say that around Diana.
Sorry.
Spoken like a muggle.
Never got into it. Sorry.
Such a Slytherin. So, what we have is, I know this probably may not work for Barbara unless we did it later or met at the library, but Tuesday, August 5th, Tuesday, August 12th, try to meet before the Board of Selectmen meeting.
Tuesday, August 5th won't work for me, but August 12th.
What about, is it just Tuesday or late night?
And Tuesday night, late night, but August 5th is, I mean, the Board of Selectmen start at 5:30.
The Board of Selectmen meeting is on the 13th.
Yeah, but it starts at 5:30.
We're not thinking the 13th. We're thinking the 12th.
The 5th or the 12th.
But she said meeting before the Board of Selectmen.
Oh, yeah, meeting like the day before.
Oh.
Sorry about that. There's also
I'm
Monday,
sorry.
the 11th.
Monday, the 11th could work for me.
All those days work for me.
Barb was the one with the
So
late
maybe
night
Monday,
party
the
animal
11th.
schedule, so.
On Tuesday.
At 6:30, because I have to work till 6.
So we could do Monday, the 11th.
Yeah, right now, yes.
At six, no, I'm just saying, you, like, you're, from what you know, you don't.
Right, I'll check with Tony first thing in the morning. I'll look at the schedules.
What is this?
But I just mean you personally.
Personally, I think I'm good.
Meeting in
At
August.
6, 7, 8.
Okay. Regular.
Well, it has to be special because it's a different day than what we would be
Yeah.
meeting. It has to be special maybe.
Right.
Yeah. It has to, no
So
matter
I'll
what,
do-
it's,
I'll do
Instead
a
of our
I will
regular-
do a cancel of August 7th and then a special meeting of whichever date.
and then maybe
But
what we.
August 6th is a Monday?
No, August 6th is a Wednesday.
Okay, August 11th, Monday, August 11th,
That's the date we're looking at.
Okay. We're looking at
6
August 11th.
PM,
Can we do 6:30?
6:30 PM.
Okay.
Should we make it a potluck?
Well, sounds like a good
Yeah, a
idea.
place to be announced.
In a room nearby,
Right. Somewhere in this town.
swept under the stairs.
All right.
Alright, let's go.
Nobody gets the reference. Anyway,
I'm losing it.
and then, so maybe to talk to housing, I don't know if we really have time to meet with them in August, but we could say,
When is this housing film or whatever it is?
well, then they were saying we could host a watch party together. If anybody's.
How long is this film really?
Is the film the same film that was shown in the
Yeah.
public meeting?
Yeah.
I went to it
When was that, Barbara? What
in,
year?
in the senior center. Downstairs.
Is that a really
I
good
can
use of
say
time
that-
to watch a movie together?
Yeah, I think really more it was like we were inviting them into a discussion to talk about,
Yeah,
you know,
I'd rather watch it beforehand.
Let me
Talk,
just
yeah.
say, this movie was totally about how people that live in affordable housing are wonderful people.
okay.
That's what
Now
the
you don't even
movie
have to
was
watch it
about.
then, you have Cliff's Notes.
I mean,
Okay.
you know, as you said much earlier,
All right, so we'll go
Somehow-
back to saying, you know, maybe a watch party is not really something that we have time for, but,
It'd be great to meet and discuss.
Yeah, I think so.
You know?
Open it up.
Well, I mean, how long is this movie?
No,
anyway?
it's not that long,
If it's like a 20-minute movie, that's fine.
10 to 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
oh,
It's
okay.
not
So
long.
we have the
That's fine,
Conservation Commission meeting on September 4th.
Useless.
September 4th. It will just be back from 9:30. Okay,
So I can respond back to
we
Kathleen
can
and
watch
say,
it for the first hour, we can make it the first hour of our meeting, we can do that. Sounds tricky.
can everybody get here an hour early? We wanna have like the first part of our meeting.
Okay.
September 4th. Sorry, what was
We
that?
have birthday cake, my birthday.
That's what day is that?
Wait, didn't you make the
Labor
chocolate
Day.
flourless birthday cake? Or we did, rum sherry over here?
Maybe I should make my own cake and bring it.
Well, I'm just
Sounds
saying,
good.
you made a really good cake. Shh, the chocolate one? Or the sherry cake, that's my bad. Okay, so we'll invite housing to join us. Oh, hey, they have a housing committee meeting on the same day at 7:00. And so,
September 4th, you're saying?
Okay, so that's a good day for a joint meeting then.
although they're in the central meeting room and we are in the main meeting room. Anybody know the difference? Wait,
That's gotta be something wrong.
yeah,
It's main meeting room and it's for selectmen's meeting room. That I know of.
maybe this is the central meeting
Okay,
room.
can we figure that out later? So are we willing to invite them and figure out timing? But we still wanna have our own meeting after.
Yeah, so we can invite them for, we'll see, 5:00 works for their committee, or if they wanna come for the first half
Okay,
of ours.
and we wanna limit it to an hour long or an hour and 10 minutes long because if it could take up the whole time, we have to get to our own
And
meeting.
don't
they probably
forget.
have to get to theirs.
Park works till 9,
Oh,
custodian. We could give him overtime, but never know.
Looks like we're about to. We better wrap it up.
I'm ready. Anything else that anyone wants to bring up?
So looking at August 11th to find out when we have to find out September 4th why it says those two things. I will have a definition of central and main.
Okay.
This thing.
I'd like to adjourn this meeting.
Who's gonna say it first?
I'd like to adjourn.
Oh, you, okay.
Second?
Second.
Val, okay. Time
favor?
is 8:43.